Viewer discretion is advised. The book for this episode is filled with smut, and thus discussion around sex and kinks is prevalent throughout the review. If you are under 18, please go somewhere else, such as a cozy video game or hug a tree. Thank you.
What up, book crows? It is time, and welcome to our Penelope. Excuse you. She shook her collar.
Do you want to restart, or we start keeping that in?
No, I think it's perfect. She found another kibble on the ground. She's such a pudgy. Anyway, and welcome to our episode 3 of our Fourth Wing series, where we will be reviewing Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. And if anyone has seen my social media posts, I think you get the vibes of this episode. There's a reason. It's been 3 months. So, Beryl, my lovely co-host, do you need a review? Do you need a reminder of what book 1 and 2 was about?
Okay, actually, let me try and do this myself.
Okay.
Book 1, we see Violet, little violence bitch, idiot with health issue that she continuously ignores, enter academic academy, guy who is, what is his name? What's his name? Xavier? Xander?
Xaden.
Xaden. I knew it started with an X.
With an X.
Yeah. We have Xaden, who is the son of the late rebel. He has his secret rebel society of rebel children who are looking out for each other and so on and so forth. They have a whole romance where they want to deny their romantic feelings towards each other, but it's a romantasy. So, forgiveness no matter what, right?
Yeah.
And then things go wrong in the first book. Actually can't really remember the first book very well, other than betrayal, yada yada. There's these group of people who eat magic around them. They've reversed magic engineered things, and they're the big secret of the world. They're the actual villains, and this fascist empire everybody lives in is secretly keeping the real villains of the world secret so that they can point their fingers at other people for some reason instead of pointing fingers at the actual evil people.
Yes.
Big plan to do suicide missions. Suicide missions don't go into suicide missions properly. People die anyways. Our leads have plot armor. Prince cool guy is cool if I remember right. But he dies? Question mark? Something happened to him. I can't remember what happened to him. Just that you liked him for a hot second, and then something happened.
So there's two characters. In the first book, it's Liam that dies, who's essentially the bodyguard that Xaden assigns to her. Okay. Because it's this whole thing about how if one of them dies, the other person would die because their dragon would die, even though in this universe, if riders die, the dragon doesn't die. The dragon dies, the rider dies. But the theory is that their bond with their dragon is so strong or bullshit, even though they've been bonded for less than half a year, that the dragon would die. In which case, the other dragon would die because mates.
Yeah. People hate Violet because of Violet's mom, also Violet standing for something else, yada yada yada. And also suspicious of Violet for figuring out the real truth of the matter, yada yada yada. Violet's mom might actually be trying to force some weird things. Either she hates her daughter and wants her daughter to die, or she knows what's going on and is trying to use her daughter to take down the government from the inside. I can't remember which one. I remember having that question at the end, though. And then Xaden, in order to survive, does a whole eat magic thing, and now his dragon bond is severed? Or his dragon just hates him now? Because he did the eat magic. The dragon just hates him. The dragon just hates him, okay. Dragon just hates him now because he did the reverse eat magic thing, and now he's part of the group of people who are supposedly super villainous and are irredeemable because of that. And that's how we ended the last book, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was... And Violet's mom died.
And Violet's mom died. Okay.
Yeah. She sacrificed herself.
We should just take this clip of me explaining it really badly and make a separate video for just that.
That should be our promo for the entire series.
For the third book.
So, we start out this book, okay, with a dedication.
Okay.
That makes me laugh because it's a not like other girls dedication. Even though Rebecca and her book girlies are the popular girls.
Oh.
And by that, like, no disrespect to book girlies. I am really proud of the fact that books are becoming popular again, because the literacy rates in America are so terrible that I'm happy people are reading books. But I mean, Rebecca. Dear, sweet Rebecca, you will probably never hear this. If you do, hi, welcome to the channel. You're the popular kids. What the hell do you mean? Like, what? Let me read this. To the ones who don't run with the popular crowd. To the ones who get caught reading under their desks. To the ones who feel like they never get invited, included, or represented. Get your leathers. We have dragons to ride.
Huh. It's always the quiet ones, isn't it?
Yes.
I think I was telling you about, like, some classmates of mine who are super quiet, but as soon as they open their mouth, they're, like, the most obnoxious people in existence, but they act like they're better than everyone else. It's always the quiet ones.
Well, and, like, I had times where I was definitely an angsty teen, but
Same.
I was literally, like, by myself 99% of the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Like, I got shoved into a trash can and shoved into a locker. I did not have friends. I was literally on my own.
Your little town out in the countryside really was just 80s movies personified.
It so was.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I had to be stuck with a guy on a project in history class, and people got mad at me because I didn't like him, and he was, like, one of the popular kids because he did sports. And so they got pissed off at me for being mean to him. I'm like, I have to do everything for this goddamn project. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, see, because my school was in a highly populated school with 500 people in my graduating class, like, the jocks were just there.
Yeah.
They just, like, they were a normal person. Like, I got teamed up with jocks all the time because jocks actually needed to maintain good grades to be able to play. It wasn't just like, oh, you're the only person we have, so now you're getting a free ride for everything. It was like hey, we have so many people that you need to get good grades if you want to play. And so the jocks actually studied hard, and I was in a lot of classes with the jocks, and a lot of them actually asked me for help, and they were nice to me, and they didn't, like, they all pulled their weight. I think I only have one story of a jock who was mean to me, and I was so confused by what she was doing that I didn't even realize what she was doing until something like 7 years later when I saw a TikTok about pick-me girls. No, seriously.
Even amongst my friends when I did track, because I had, mind you, I think because I had undiagnosed autism, it was really hard for me, because even the people I was friends with, in middle school especially, they just used me, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, even my friends bullied me in ways that either they don't remember, or they would deny. And so I got sent to the principal's office a lot because of my friends in middle school. But in high school, even amongst my friends, I was still an outsider. And it's really weird to say. I wonder if they would say the same thing. But none of them really talk to me now. Even though they were supposed to be, like, my track friends. They talk to one of the other people in my group that I'm no longer friends with.
Yeah.
But the only time I ever talked to them is one person, because I knew them before they knew the other person.
That's fair.
And I haven't heard from them in, like, 6 months.
Huh. It's crazy how many people from your high school that I know versus how few people from my high school that you knew.
That is actually really a good point.
It's because the dance studio was based out of your hometown.
Yeah. I mean, in my hometown, your parents knew the other kids' parents.
Yeah, that's the other thing. My dad graduated from the same high school you graduated from.
My teachers knew my dad because they taught my dad.
Yeah. Your
Not
teachers,
a good look.
Your teachers knew my dad.
Yeah.
One of your teachers' moms was my teacher at my school, and so I got to hear about your school as well through them. I think I know one of your English teachers specifically, because one time while I was at dance practice, it was right before recital season, I actually saw my teacher, like my speech and debate teacher from high school, wandering your high school's halls. I'm like, what are you doing here? And she asked me what I was doing there. And then her daughter, who I had met by that point, turned around and was like, what are you doing here? And then you ran out and were like, oh my goodness, hi. And I know it's one of your English teachers from high school, but I can't remember what her first name was.
That's fair. That's fair. To be fair, I don't know what their first name was. I only knew the last names.
That's fair. And she didn't have the same last name as my teacher because she was married by that point and she no longer was using her maiden name.
Were they younger with darker hair?
Younger with medium blonde hair? Was she an English teacher? Or am I mistaken on that? Because her mom's an English teacher and a speech and debate teacher.
I don't remember.
We can figure it out sometime.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, we can figure it out a different time. So, yeah, that's the dedication.
Yeah.
I read that and immediately was like, oh, that is golden. That is beautiful. And then, naturally, we have the usual... And I love content warnings in books, but you don't need a content warning saying that your book is a non-stop thrilling adventure.
What?
Yeah. Which then ends with readers who may be sensitive to these elements take note and prepare to face the storm. It's the same one for every one of these books, just with slightly different endings.
Okay.
We also have this lovely list of cast of characters that I didn't look at once and kept forgetting who the fuck people were because they weren't important. And half of them that weren't important aren't even on this list anyway. So, so like, they would say, oh yeah, Cure. And I'm like, who? The fuck is that?
Okay, alright. I don't want to shit on... I don't want to shit on this book series so much because it does get people back into reading.
Yeah.
But
like Harry Potter did.
Yeah, I want people to know that when we talk shit about this book, it is not us talking shit about the readers of this book.
Yeah.
It's us just talking shit about the quality.
If you like this book series, go. One of my friends that I grew up with likes these books, so
yeah.
No shame to you if you happen to listen to this because you saw one of my posts. Hello. How's it going? I haven't talked to you in a bit. How you doing? Anyway, so we begin. After that lovely dedication, we have a prologue where Violet doesn't know where the hell Xaden is going in the middle of the night. And it's her perspective from the last chapter in Iron Flame. Because remember, the last two books end with a perspective from Xaden.
Oh, that's right.
For no reason. Yeah. So she follows him to the prison cell where Jack Barlow is somehow still the fuck alive and is being kept in. And Xaden's trying to figure out if there's a cure for being Venom. Because, obviously there has to be a cure, right? To which Jack just laughs in his face and says, no, dude, there isn't any cure. Why the hell would we want a cure? We're, super powerful now. Except the fact that I'm stuck in this prison cell where everything is drained so I can't do anything and I'm slowly dying. But we're totally powerful, right? Right?
Comically evil bad guys being comically evil and loving the fact that they are comically evil. I actually don't mind that. It's just like...
I like subtle villains.
I don't mind over-the-top villains, but there has to be a reason for them, If they're over-the-top, they still need to be, intelligent over-the-top. Because if you're slowly dying because you have to consume... Also, you literally live in a world... I'm starting to remember a little bit. These people live in a barren wasteland because their existence drains magic.
Yes.
And, that's why they have to keep eating the world. At what point do you not realize that's unsustainable?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Well, they also just suck energy out of people.
Why wouldn't your, options then be either set up a human farm or figure out a way to, constantly supply yourself with magic that doesn't involve unsustainability? Because, surely at some point you're going to realize that something's not right here.
Yeah. Also, what do they eat? Do they only eat magic? How messed up is their bodies now? What do their organs look like? I don't know.
I'm so curious, at what point does their idiocy stop? Because surely some idiots that become... some people who become Vernon are going to be idiots who don't think about anything past themselves, and they're just, fine with taking other lives. But there should be enough Vernons, because there are, I believe there are some references to people accidentally becoming Vernon because of, it's literally just reverse engineering magic. Yeah, so if people accidentally become Vernon... There absolutely has to be a few people who are smart enough to go, oh, hey, this is non-sustainable, right?
Which also brings me to another question, because it happens later in the book. A cadet just happens to accidentally become a Venom in the middle of training. How often has this happened that the college is able to cover this up?
Yeah.
Because it has to have happened before this moment, before this book, someone has to have accidentally become a Venin in the middle of fucking college while they're learning how to use magic. Like, and they're able to keep this a secret.
I respect the concept of the Venin and why they are so dangerous.
Yeah.
But there has to be a better way. There has to be a way to make them smarter. Maybe, like, the problem could be that they need some magical artifact MacGuffin thing that will supply them with endless magic so long as they have it. But if they have endless magic, then we have a superpowered race of human beings that have the endless magic they need to be superpowered and crazy. And then that's an equally bad thing that you don't want to happen. Especially since most people who are Venin end up choosing to go Venin. Like, people accidentally go Venin all the time, but we see that crazy evil people are naturally drawn to being turned Venin because of the power scale, which is a normal thing that we see in real life too. Like, I'm seeing the lines, and I'm like, I feel like everything that I'm feeling could be fixed if there was a MacGuffin that the Venins were after and our heroes were trying to keep them from getting.
And that's the thing. We don't know. All we know of the Venin, including in this book, is them drawing magic from the earth or from other people, and that's it. We don't know what they want.
I have been in reviewing story mode for my college classes, as everybody who's been listening regularly for now knows, my last semester of college, which I believe this is coming out after I graduate?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm currently in my last semester, the second half of my last semester, and I'm in 4 writing classes, as people who are regularly paying attention know.
And writes books.
And I write books on the side and personal scripts on the side, and I've done some poetry this semester too. I'm just a writing addict. But in class, we are in the mode where all 4 of my writing classes are giving people feedback. And so this is immediately just popping to my head of like, this is how you fix this.
Yeah. And I don't want book 4, because book 4 and book 5, she's working on book 4 right now. Book 5 is supposed to be coming out. I'm hoping to have this come out before book 4 does. Because we have no idea when the hell that's happening. But she's working on book 4, and I'm really hoping that either A, it's solely from Xaden's perspective, so we know how the fuck the Venin work, or B, it's just from Violet's perspective. I don't want it to be dual.
No, I have very few authors where I accept dual perspective.
Yeah.
Most of the time, dual perspective is just bad. And I think it's a dead horse that we're beating on this channel, that both of us hate dual perspective books.
Yeah. You can... few cases have worked for me.
Yeah.
I prefer an overarching narrator that just knows everything.
Yeah, I'm definitely more forgiving towards it than you are. But I hate it still. I will absolutely complain about it.
Alright, so while Xaden is still interrogating Jack, because we're still in the prologue, Violet and Andarna, which is the baby dragon, okay, her special dragon, agree that there has to be a cure, and maybe Andarna's kind, the Irids, are the key to curing the Venin, because she happened to be able to burn a Venin, which is not supposed to be able to happen, and that they will do whatever it takes to find a cure and her kind. They also, once again, reiterate that dragons don't answer to humans.
Death flags, okay.
Death flags.
I mean, I feel like it's an obvious death flag. Maybe, was it an obvious death flag to you? Is it an obvious death flag?
Who do you think is dying?
Aderna.
No.
God damn. Is it the other dragon?
No, neither of them die.
Why are you throwing death flags?
There is a small moment where she loses a dragon, but is mind you, there are 3 moments where it's where it's a fake out where she loses a dragon. There's 3 fake outs.
So more death flags.
But I don't talk about 2 of the fake outs.
The dragons are gonna die in the last book. Understood.
Maybe. She has put out things, and I don't know if this is like similar to how J.K. Rowling has just randomly thrown shit out randomly. She's thrown out that Xaden in book 4 is in his villain era, whatever that means, and something about, well, who says you can trust the dragons? That's all she has thrown out recently online. And I don't know if she's just making shit up as she goes along or not.
Okay.
It feels like she is.
Have fun, girly pop.
Girly pop. So we officially begin the book. It is 2 weeks later, and the Iron Squad, her little group of friends, are going to visit Sawyer in the medical wing because he lost part of his leg in the last book during the big battle thingy. And he's not sure he can become a writer anymore since he lost half of his leg. And the rest of the group are like, you can do it as you just need to adjust. And their little leader, Rhiannon, is kind of pressuring him, basically. And then they hear a scream because a venin has drained someone in the medical wing. And at this point, after they realize that there is a venin in there, her dragon is like, they're inside the walls. And they're like, oh shit, dude. Of course they're inside the walls. The guy's dead. Said that 5 minutes ago, please.
Could you say, how did they get in the walls? How did I not? Okay, alright.
So, Violet realizes that the venin are disguising themselves as scribes because she saw people walking past them earlier that were dressed as scribes. And in her own words, scribes would have gone to the archives after they realized there was a threat, and there was some scribes that weren't going to the archives, so she just kills someone. And that's when her friend's like, how did you know? She's like, well, they would have gone to the archives. And I'm like, okay, but what if that wasn't? And you just killed someone. To me, that would have been a lot more funny.
It would have been really funny. Okay. I see the thought process, though.
Yeah, I see the thought process, but it would have been hilarious.
It would have been hilarious.
But this is a serious book, guys. So Violet, they realize the venin are trying to break Jack Barlow out of his cell. I don't remember how they realize, but they do. There's a bit of a fight, a little tussle thing, and someone's like, no, not the silver-haired one. We need her. And Violet's like, to get to Xaden? And then Xaden appears, and he takes everyone out with, Shadow Daddy magic. And all of her friends are like, oh my god, I didn't know Xaden was that badass, blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
Because he's awesome or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then Violet asks him after their debrief, because, they gotta be interrogated about what happened. She's like, how did you know where we were? And he's like, because I'm a venin. I can sense them. And she's like, he can sense them? Yeah.
Okay.
And he obviously feels very much like a threat now, and like he's no longer himself. But Violet's like, no, you're fine.
I can fix him. But Daddy, I can fix him!
And so her friends, the ones that are actually Xaden's friends, but they're her friends because she's with Xaden, have been trying to convince her they need to stop sleeping in the same bed. And she's like, no, he would never hurt me. And Xaden's like, yeah, clearly we don't need to stop sleeping together.
The sex is just that good.
Worth death. So then they go to this council meeting. And Violet goes with a list of demands, okay? She's talking to, higher up people of all the fucking counties, okay? And Xaden's one of them, so he's sitting there. And she's like, these are Indarna's demands. When we go to find her kind, this is what she wants. And the people are like, bitch, you're 20. You're a cadet. I don't care who your dragons are. Sit your ass down. You're gonna do what we want. And she's aghast that adults are telling her what to do.
Ma'am,
how dare?
This is a military? Ma'am? Your mom's dead. She can't tell us what to do anymore.
They're literally like, we still consider you a deserter. Shut up.
Ma'am, this is a military?
Yeah. Dude, what did you expect to happen? I know you have, big bad dragon daddy or whatever, and little small dragon sassy bitch, but you're a child. At least you act like one.
Yeah.
So they tell her, you don't get to choose what team goes with you on the quest thing. I don't care if it's your dragon that we're going to try and find its family. We're assigning. Shut the fuck up. And one of the people who happens to be Xaden's second in command, basically, his name's Llewyn or whatever, or Llewellyn or whatever. They're not important.
Okay.
He's like, look, I'll see what I can do about the rest of your demands, but I don't know, sucks. And there's also this undercurrent of tension at the college. There's even a whole fight scene that doesn't matter because it literally does not exist for any reason. Where, just to show the tension, that they're trying to do negotiations with Primordial and to have the Flyers be able to stay and train at the college and, not murder each other. Because remember, the Flyers and the Dragon Riders hate each other.
Yeah.
There's literally the Flyers and the Dragon Rider cadets get into a fist fight, basically. And then one of their professors comes in and is like, guys, there's literally a war going on. Shut the fuck up. Get back to class.
Even the Marines and the Navy can get along, dudes.
I know. Like, at least in the Army, people are just talking shit to each other.
I got these two guys in my, I know a lot of people from the Navy. Somehow, the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force. But the people in the Navy overwhelm the others in people in my life.
There's a lot of there's a lot of bases over that way.
Like, I just know a lot of people from the military.
Fair.
And there's two guys from the Navy in my gaming group. And man, the way they treat each other is just very different.
Oh, yeah. One of my buddies, he enlisted partially so he could get his college paid for.
Yeah.
But he was in the Army, and they're different. Mind you, this is not like stereotypical white guys who aren't in the military that think they're badass for no reason.
Yeah. I mean,
there is some overlap.
Yeah. I told you the one friend who joined the military because he thinks he's a badass.
Yes.
And
there is some overlap.
Yeah. The other person in my gaming group joined the military so that he could get out of Nebraska.
Fair.
And then he got stationed in Nebraska. That's why he joined the Navy specifically. He's like, I want to be not in Nebraska.
Why the fuck would you have a Navy stationed in Nebraska?
They put him in computer stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. Alright. So, there's this really stupid spicy scene.
Great.
Where Violet is very clearly wanting to, and doesn't understand why Xaden is holding back. Because they're so good together. Like, hello. And, you know why. It's because he can't trust himself not to drain the magic out of her. It's very Bella Edward.
Yeah.
So then they're doing spicy stuff, and then she smells the scent of burnt wood, because remember, not only does she light shit on fire with her lightning when she's... Side tangent. The amount of times that this woman... Like, please get a better adjective for when someone is coming than saying, I shatter every single scene.
If it's one scene, it's fine.
It's every scene. I shatter. Bitch, no you don't. Are you on a grenade? Shut up! Every scene.
Okay, yeah. It can be more... It needs to be more diverse.
The amount of times I've circled it, and I want to go back and look in the other books and see if it's in the same thing, and I just didn't notice it every time. Anyway, so... And then Xaden, like, pulls away and is like, I need my space, and she doesn't understand why. And then she realizes that he channeled. And there's a little faint graying handprint on the headboard from when it happened. And he's like, no, this isn't a good thing. And she's like, well, why isn't it the same color like it should be? He's like, well, because I stopped myself partway through. And she's like, well, that's so good that, you stopped. You didn't hurt me. Everything's fine. He's just like, no.
I'm on Xaden's side this time.
Yeah.
Like, Violet, stop being a horny, annoying bitch.
Like, are the straight people okay?
This
is the
whole
book.
They've never been okay.
The whole book is this bitch not being able to control... go fund me to get Violet Sorrengail a vibrator. I swear to God.
Please.
Like, if she's not oogling this man and commenting on how his abs are and his muscles ripple, like...
I live for LGBT content because LGBT people are significantly less horny than straight people. And if I ever hear another straight person who's being homophobic and not knowing it makes comments about, like, oh, stuff about people in the bedroom for LGBT people, I swear to God. I know that, like, Pride has a lot of fetish stuff in it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Somehow, there's a whole kink community.
Yeah, somehow the kink community and the LGBT community is less disgusting than the things that I hear straight people say. Things that straight people tell me, not knowing that I'm gay, is crazy, by the way. Like, ugh.
I'm just trying to... I don't have a lot of straight friends. There's just my husband.
I'm a social butterfly.
I'm surrounded by the gays.
Yeah, I'm a social butterfly, so I know a lot of straight people. Granted, like...
To be... most people I get along with are also neurodivergent, and there's a high overlapping there.
Yeah. And, like, A lot of the straight people that I know that are super comfortable and don't do this weird sexualization stuff are also neurodivergent. Or
Fair.
they're extremely neurodivergent to a crazy point, and they also do the crazy, gross sex stuff. It's one or the other. They're either super comfortable and neurodivergent, or they're super uncomfortable and neurodivergent.
I think what's interesting is once I got married and to an old enough age, for some reason my dad thought it was okay to, like, make jokes and talk about that type of... Like, before, when I was, like, in high school, he would just make lesbian jokes because I cut my hair. But now that I'm married, he thinks it's okay to make, like, wife or sex jokes or whatever around Dalton and I. And we're just like, dude, you're my dad.
I wish my dad would at least wait till I was an adult to make those jokes.
It's possible my dad made some and I just didn't notice it.
I got some graphic details about my parents' sex life from my father when I was 4 years old at the dinner table.
Yeah, my dad didn't do that. I heard them because our walls were thin, but...
Yeah, I also heard my parents sometimes because of the walls, but, like, I never asked them about it.
My sister stopped me from going into their room.
I would just go to my sister's room to avoid hearing my parents. It annoyed my sister when we were kids.
Fair. That's fair. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so then Mira and Brennan show up because, remember, she has 2 siblings. Her brother is not dead, like she thought.
Oh, I forgot about that plot point.
Yeah. So Mira shows Violet that runes work inside the wards, meaning they might be able to save the negotiations to keep the Flyers there. And Brennan mentions that there's only 6 months to save Aretia, which is the capital of Tirandor, which is where the Zayden Shadow Daddy number 69 is from. Because the wards are failing because they didn't have a 7th breathe on the ward stone.
Okay.
Which is another reason why they want to find Indarna's kind.
Okay.
So the next day, Violet, after the whole, you know how I mentioned that fight, that doesn't matter? Yeah, it doesn't matter. But Violet finds out the negotiations to keep the Flyers and train them with the Dragon Riders has failed after this fight. And that Zayden now has the title of Duke of Tirandor back. And Violet's kind of intimidated by the fact that her boyfriend is now a duke. Like, it briefly makes her wonder if Kat should be with him because, yeah, it's like a 5-second side plot that goes nowhere.
Girl, he literally just struggled to hold back his channeling bullshit when having sex with you. I think you're fine.
Yeah, but, you know. So then Violet and her group decide that in order to keep the Flyers at the school, treason.
Okay. Alright, you know what? I'm good with some light treason.
Because part of the other deal is they're going to be pardoned in the morning. So, with the help of Mira and Sawyer and also Brennan, because Mira knows it's happening and Brennan also realizes it's happening after the negotiations failed, they happen to already be there when Violet and her group of rebellion leaders show up. And they're like, we knew this was going to happen. We're going to make this a family affair now. You know, like it's eating pizza or some shit. So they go and they tamper with the wards to make it so the Flyers can can use their magic inside the wards. And then Violet is in the middle of class, and then Dane's dad shows up.
Oh!
Who is now General Atos and leader of the school.
That's right, Dane exists.
Yes, Dane exists.
Dane exists.
So Dane's dad is now the general of the school after, her mom died. And he pulls Violet out of class and he's like, I'm charging you with treason because she on purposely left her lightning patch at the scene of the crime.
What? Why?
Because she knows she's getting pardoned in the morning.
Wouldn't she just not get pardoned then?
I have no fucking idea. So then they take her to the little council meetings of representatives of higher up peoples. He's like, look at this! Ha! I brought her! And she's like, yeah, I fucking did it! And people are like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do with that? And she's like, you're welcome. I saved your negotiations because they can wield now inside the wards. And people are like, what the fuck are we gonna do with that? And Zayden's like, nothing. We just pardoned her and all of her friends, so we can't do shit.
Sir, this is a military?
Also, young pardons usually have to be worded specifically unless it's an overarching pardon.
Yes, you are correct. There's a way to do an overarching pardon.
I don't think this would be listed on the pardon.
This wasn't listed on the pardon, but did it ever say the exact words of the pardon?
No.
Okay, then I guess we assume that it's an overarching pardon that pardons her for everything that she did before the pardon happened, regardless of if they knew or not.
I also have a bigger question. Why isn't the king in this? Why isn't the king doing the pardon? Instead, we have this weird council of representatives.
Yeah. Is there a shogun that we are supposed to talk to instead of a king? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. There's just this council of people, one of which includes Xaden. I feel like he shouldn't be allowed to make decisions when it comes to her. You know, he's yeah. And then there's a bunch of other people from, like, other countries or whatever. I don't know. Like, not even the prince is at this council meeting. Which brings me to one of my main points of this book. I don't know how the chain of command works in this book. I don't know.
What is happening here?
Like, we have monarchies, and then we have a random-ass council issuing pardons.
I feel like this is, like, Shogun-era Japan. Or wannabe Shogun-era Japan.
I don't know. What's so weird is there's very clear Welsh names in this series.
Yeah.
And there's also areas where it seems very Arabic coded. I don't know what's going on in this book. I don't know what we're basing this shit off of. And I know that her husband, she was a military wife. Her husband was in, like, the U.S. military or whatever.
Okay, but the military is going to have a different function of how, like, people responding to who based off of if you're a monarchy or a democracy. Like,
yeah.
I understand that no matter what military and political system we're in the quote-unquote Western world, so European-centric countries, the primary leader that everybody looks to is the person who should be on top of the military. So technically, our president is in charge of the military as the highest point in the military.
But he still has to answer to Congress.
Still has to answer to Congress. You are correct. Technically. Doesn't mean that it always happens. And that is a finger being pointed at many of our U.S. presidents within history, not just the current one, but the current one specifically. Anyways. But, like, if you look at Eurocentric kingdoms, a lot of Eurocentric kingdoms have a history of their leaders being in the military. There's a reason why, what's his name, the current heir to the British throne, William.
There we go.
Yeah.
I remembered Andrew, and then I remembered William.
Okay, so Andrew is...
And then there's another one.
I believe Andrew is the brother to the current king. So Prince Andrew is King Charles' brother. And then William is the eldest son of King Charles. Anyways, I know that, there's a reason we've seen William being so decorated in a military uniform. His father was decorated in a military uniform before that. And this goes back to an ancient tradition of, like, some kind of military involvement in medieval era European countries. It's everywhere. And, like, I know that in Japan the emperor is, like, a different sort of thing, and then we had the shogun. But, like, I'm not going to speak too much on what outside of Europe things look like.
Yeah, the only other main one I know is one of the, I think it's South Korea, they have a mandatory draft.
Yes.
And even then, and it's not just in wartime, although, you know, North Korea is right there, but they have a mandatory draft, which is respectable in my opinion, because it means that you're not just fucking around as, like, a rich person who gets to make decisions without any experience.
I am going to say that in South Korea you can't avoid the draft with a heavy dose of money, like just a very heavy donation to the military.
Yeah. But, like, most famous people aren't making comments without knowing something.
Yes, because, like, we even see with BTS, they have all the money in the world, but they still ended up having to get drafted because the program to avoid the draft in South Korea doesn't really extend to idols.
Yeah. And, personally, I don't think anyone should be able to avoid it if it's a mandatory draft.
Yes, I agree.
But at the same time, I also know I don't want my husband drafted. He's too old, number one. But... U.S. politics are very different. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yes. It just...
So, don't worry. The chain of command shit comes up in, like, 5 sentences.
Okay.
It's coming in again. Don't worry. So, the Queen of Poromil comes in, just walks in. She was not in this meeting originally. She just walks the fuck in. What was she doing before? Was she having tea time and crumpets? I don't fucking know. She just walks in and she's like, I'm very impressed, young lady. And she's like, I hear that you have access to Viscount Torturous' library. And Violet's like, yeah, he's helping me do research stuff. She's like, well, I'm giving you access to my library because it's the biggest on the continent. And then Violet's like, no! And then she walks out, and her friends are like, oh my god, what happened? She's like, weren't you the fucking class? And then naturally, Dane's dad, General Atos, storms over. He's like, you're not gonna get away with this! And she's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like, I was pardoned. I have the big bad Dagon Dratty. Like, what are you gonna do? Dane's dad looks into her very soul. He's like, well, I may not be able to punish you, but I can punish your friends. I hear that they're having trouble on the front lines. So I'm sending you and all your friends to the front fucking lines in the middle of a war. I'm just gonna send cadets.
Sure, sir. All right, sir.
Now, mind you, I have a father-in-law who was in the Coast Guard. And at this point, I kind of checked out of this book a little bit, because I'm like, okay, we have Umbridge number 5.0. Because we had Umbridge number 2.0 in the last book. You remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I even asked my father-in-law, I have a list of questions, okay? I came prepared for this shit. Because, like I said, I don't know how the fucking chain of command works in this book. So I went to a source, okay? I'm not from the military, but I have someone who is. Now, in order to list the qualifications of my father-in-law, he was in the Coast Guard, which is not the Army or, like, the Air Force or whatever, but close enough. They're still the military. And he was a senior chief, which equivalent to the enlisted member would be a E8. The highest rank is a E9. So, pretty high up there. And he oversaw not only, driving fucking boats, but also he was responsible for training and qualification of everyone assigned to the unit for safe operations and completed missions. He was also in charge of discipline and recommendation of promotions. I know from talking to Dalton, he also would help with things like hurricane aftermath, which caused some PTSD shit for people.
Coast Guard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked him, because I had a hard time reading a guy using his rank for personal vendettas.
Yeah.
Also, the military structure for the Coast Guard is similar throughout all branches. So you don't come at me saying, well, Coast Guard's different from the Army. Don't come at me. I came with sources. So, the very first question I asked him was, what's the chain of command for cadets? And it's really similar to regular military. Structure, you higher-ups, general, colonels, all that shit. To which I then asked, is the commander of a military school able to send cadets to the front lines? To which he said, possibly in wartime. And his evidence for this is in World War II, they compressed academics so that upon graduation, cadets could be commissioned and sent to the front lines right away. Notice they still had to graduate.
Yeah. Condition, graduation. You don't know how to shoot a gun properly yet, sir.
Yeah, mind you, there's also several generals. There's the general of the infantry, there's the general of the army, there's the general of the college. Mm-hmm. So I also asked, is the chain of command separate for military schools? And he said, well, yes and no. There's command of military senior leaders established because of, different branches. But if one is stepping into another person's area of expertise, they're answering to the one who's the general of that area of expertise.
Okay, alright.
There's also, checks and balances. Either way, this asshole has someone above him who should be able to punish him for his emotional vendettas. But again, if he wanted to send these people to the front lines, he would just, shove them into third year and have them graduate real fast.
Yeah.
So based on my evidence, this is bullshit.
What page are you in right now?
I'm on page 3, but I printed out the questions and I read through them after he typed his answers.
That's fair.
I also highlighted the important parts. So, thank you, father-in-law. So, they get sent to the front lines, illegally. And the guy is like, look, I don't know the commanding officer of that area, in their little branch section unit that they're sent to. They're like, hey, what do you want us to do? And he's like, look, just make yourself useful. Okay? I don't give a shit what you did to piss off Atos. Just make yourself useful. Do whatever you want. And so they're like, okay. So they go to their room. But don't say that to people in the military, okay? If you tell them to do whatever the fuck they want, don't do that.
I don't think a single commanding officer would say that.
Fair. So they go to their bunks, the one that used to be Zayden's. She pulls them through because the wards are still there for some reason, meaning no one can enter that goddamn room.
Goodness gracious.
And then, they go to leave after they set all their shit down or whatever. And they hear people talking about this city that's getting attacked, and it happens to be the city where Marin, who is one of the flyers, her family's there. And Marin's like, well, what are you guys gonna do? And they're like, nothing. Like, we're short on people. We can't do shit. So naturally, they go to the city.
So wait, no. This guy is like, I don't care what you do. Go do whatever you want. But also, we're short on people. No. This guy is going to tell them to make themselves useful and then separate them into different groups to make them fucking useful.
His exact words were, make yourself useful, but I'm not sending cadets to die or something like that. So he doesn't want to send them out to fight.
So then put them in the make them cook food or something. Like, goddamn.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
There's something to do.
There's always something to do in a camp. You can cook food, you can send radio signals, you could do medical shit. There is something to do in a goddamn camp. Make yourself useful in these areas, and I will be checking up to see that you are in those areas. That's what the fuck would have happened. You know how I know that? Partially because I have military people in my family as well, but also because that's how a film set works.
You're also not an idiot.
I'm also not an idiot!
Yeah, this guy's just like, make yourself useful. So then they go fly out to this fucking city that's getting attacked. And the guy's dragon, like, Taryn's like, hey, yeah, this dragon's telling us to come back. And she's like, nah, we're good. We're gonna keep going.
What?
Yeah. So then they go to help save the city. And while doing so, Violet gets into attack. This is the first fake out where they try to fake us out that Taryn died. You know, the big black dragon.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, he doesn't fucking die. The book keeps going, sadly. And so she comes into a fight with a female Venin named Theophany, who has silver hair. And she wants Violet to join her and wants to see Andarna because she's really interested in Andarna. To which Violet uses her, telepathy shit to go, yeah, run the fuck away. Like, go far away. Go away. Go that way. Away from me. And then Xaden's friend, cousin, whoever the fuck Garrick is, I don't remember his relation to Xaden, I just know he's one of Xaden's buddies, just appears out of fucking nowhere. Because, spoiler alert, he has a secret signet where he can just teleport. How does that work? I don't know.
The signets already barely make sense. We just keep moving. Yeah. It's one of those, like, we can accept it because it's magic, but, like, you're walking on thin ice, baby.
So, this Venin also appears to be able to wield lightning, like Violet, and it makes Violet realize that for some reason no one considered that Venin are able to use signets. Hello! Why didn't you ever consider that before?
Wait, why wouldn't they be able to use signets? Our shadow daddy of the book can still use his goddamn shadows. What the fuck is going on?
I don't know, but apparently no one ever considered that Venin could have signets and magical special powers.
Is everyone an idiot? Wait, no, this is this book. Yes, everybody's an idiot. My apologies.
There's only, like, 2 people that aren't idiots.
I'm gonna, like, take my brain out and scrub it really fast, so I'll be back.
So, Marin's parents die. Theophy actually is like, well, at least I spared the brothers because, nice or whatever. Mm-hmm. She, like, runs the fuck away. Doesn't kill him for some ungodly reason. And so, Dane's dad, being the butthole he is, because God forbid he have any redeeming qualities like he did in the first book. He was slightly okay in the first book. He was still obviously evil. Mm-hmm. But at least he was nice enough.
Enough.
Mind you, none of the higher-ups got punished for hiding information from their people. Like, no one had them answer for any of that.
Does that mean the Keen is in on it?
I think so.
Okay.
It has to be.
But if everything was revealed to the public, he would still need to do something to placate the public.
Yeah, like, was the general public just fine with this?
Have we ever...
We don't know, because we don't ever see them.
Yeah. Like, Violet is already a rich bitch who's already involved. Her family has been heavily involved with the military for a while. So, like, there is at no point here where we get a general public point of view.
I have no idea. Like, is everyone in this country in the military then?
I guess.
And half of the military is like, how dare you still betray us, even though you revealed truth? It's all weird.
I feel like I'm getting pranked. Do you hear that? It sounds like a prank, but I can't make it out.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a plot hole. So Dane's dad, being the butthole he is, sees Marin's two little brothers. Like, as far as I know, they're like 10 at most. And he's like, well, you're gonna have to send them back. Like, fuck you. And to which Xaden's like, nah, they're going to Terrandor with me because they're now Tyranish citizens, and Atos is mad about that for stupid reasons.
Comically evil.
Yes. So Violet realizes Xaden can't come to her bedroom anymore because Atos mentions that he just can't come and go as he pleases. Ma'am, this is the military.
Ma'am, this is a military. It's said in the same tone as, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah.
This would be so much better of a book if it was done the Office style. Oh my god.
It so would be.
Get Michael Schumer on that shit.
Side note, in the real world, they wouldn't be allowed to be a couple.
No.
I know this because my uncle retired from the military to be with his wife.
Even I know that they wouldn't be allowed to be a couple, and I say that as though I don't have military officers in my family, but, like, the point still stands is that if you're not allowed to fuck your teacher, you're not allowed to fuck your superior in the military, you know?
Oh, honey.
I know, it's such a common kink for these type, in general. Humans, for some reason, really want to fuck a person of authority to fuck them. I get it. I get it. Not. I'm a top, so I don't get it personally, but I get it. I also hate it because of how many teachers and military officers are in my family. I just don't get it. Anyways.
Do you need a moment?
For the listeners to understand, I've had a bad week. If that's why I'm being more animate today, it's just because the week's actually been a decent week.
Beryl needs some cocoa.
There's been a lot of good things and bad things, but you need significantly more good things to make up for shitty things, and there's been a lot of shitty things this week, so, like...
Beryl needs a real nice cup of cocoa.
I could do that after this, actually. I got a mug, yeah. I got hot chocolate, I got a spoon.
Hell yeah. Anyway, so Xaden is called away to the front lines, and from a letter that Violet gets, yeah, it doesn't go well. He accidentally channels during an encounter and uses burnout as an excuse for why he has to be confined to his room to rest. And this is when she finds out from Jack Barlow, because for some reason she's able to go visit a guy in a prison, that there could be venom within the walls of the college all over the place and no one would fucking know. Now, here's the big question I have. I don't know how venom work. Like, as far as I knew from book 1, they had little veins in, right here around their eyes that were red, and their eyes were red. Well, apparently, if you're a low enough level venom, your eyes revert back to normal. It's only when you channel enough power that your eyes stay permanently red.
Okay. This would be so much more interesting if we started with a venom.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know how venom work in this universe that well. We're just making shit up. It's also not clear how they channel. As far as we know, it's just from their hands.
I have so many questions. And you know what? I'm willing to suspend my disbelief for a little bit longer, but only because I have to and not because I want to.
So, they come to the conclusion that to find out more about Andarna's kind, they need to get Violet's father's research, which is now hidden in what is now General Atos' office, because it was put there when it was her mom's office. And in order to get it, they need Dane's help. And for some reason, Violet questions if they can trust Dane to even do this, because she's like, well, he could get in good with his father if he gives it to his father. His father disowned him, and Dane literally left with you to go and fight against the fucking government in the second book, and he's already been helping you with research? What do you mean you can't trust the man?
At what point did it ever say that he wants to be in good with his father? That's the problem.
Literally never.
We can't just assume that people want to be friendly with their parents.
No.
Which just points out the conservative values within this book, because we can ignore the fact that it has conservative values to a point, but this book is very conservative values.
And, like, I get that he betrayed you in book 1 by... And mind you, I put betrayed in quotations, because as far as Dane knew, Xaden was doing something illegal he wasn't supposed to be doing. So he talked to his father about it, who then sent Xaden and, because of that, Violet on a mission where they almost died.
Yeah, okay.
Dane didn't know that would happen. So the only betrayals he did was tell his father something that he was concerned about, because as far as he knew, his Shadow Daddy 69 was doing something illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, trying to read Violet's thoughts in book 2 because he didn't believe her when she said that his dad did something bad.
Like, I get that not believing her is kind of shitty in some ways, but you are asking, your childhood best friend is asking you to completely change your worldview on your parents. So it makes sense that he would have that mental break.
Yeah, like, I know we're not supposed to like Dane because Dane was a possible love interest, but other than being absolutely paternally overprotective in book 1, the man's not really done much wrong.
Yeah.
And this is someone you've known forever. You've known him longer than your fuck buddy.
It's just disappointing.
It is. Like, there was no reason for her to be like, but can I trust Dane? Like, she even says, the hands of my life are in the hands of Dane Atos, because she tells him where to go find it. Like, bitch, calm down. Stop being so dramatic.
You know, there's something that has been discussed a lot these last few weeks in my film writing courses. And I have called out a few of my classmates, and I actually got called out for this as well recently. But it's something that every writer struggles with. So no full hate to Rebecca Yarros. It's one of the most important things to think about when writing a story in general, is having what we call an active protagonist. The protagonist needs to be active, and not just be active, but have like a want that's unique to themselves.
Yeah.
And that might actually be the real deep down the problems that we're having with Violet, is that what does Violet actually want at the beginning of the story? Not what she grows to want, but what she wants at the very beginning.
She already has it.
There we go. I actually got called out for this recently. And there's multiple parts of active characters, but like, a character will not feel active if they don't have a want from the get-go. In my pilot writing class, I got called out by 2 professors for that. That, like, she has a want that you can see, but the want isn't strong enough to fulfill an entire TV series. So I'm actually going back and putting a stronger want into my main character.
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, book 1 did a pretty good job of, Violet wanted to feel like people saw her as capable, because her entire life she's just been this frail, tiny little thing that's so breakable. And that was the big problem, is Dane saw her as breakable.
Yes.
Because he grew up knowing her as someone who is fragile and could hurt themselves very easily. And he couldn't get over that, which led to him being very paternal, despite the fact that he was a love interest. So then in book 2, literally, I can't even really say what it is in Iron Flame that she wanted, other than possibly the exposure of the truth.
Yeah.
Maybe? And in this one, it's literally just Xaden.
Yes. So the other thing that my professors point out, and I actually, like, when I say I got called out for this, I am a hypocrite, because the want to survive is not a strong enough want for a story. That's actually a big problem with zombie films, is that generally the want is just to survive. And that's just not a strong enough want. I'm sorry. Like, shooting zombies is not that interesting. If all it takes is to see some bullets going pew 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 and then brains exploding for you to be entertained, then, like, good job. That's all it takes for you.
Go play a video game.
Yeah, go play a video game. But, like, you need a stronger want than just survive. You need something more. And that's exactly what happened to me in my post-apocalyptic high fantasy Anastasia retelling that I'm writing for pilot writing class. So, again, wanting people to not see you as weak isn't a strong enough want. What are you going to do to prove that you're not weak? Like, I'm going to bring up Rocky, because this is something my professors love. Is in Rocky, he doesn't really know what he wants for a good chunk of it. He has this idea in his mind that if he beats Apollo, he's going to get what he wants. And what he wants is, he doesn't know what he wants. We know what he wants as an audience. He doesn't know what he wants. But he has that revelation that he needs to prove that he's not just a kid from the slums, the kid from, like, just another dumb kid from the place that he's from. And that's the point, is that you don't need the main character to even know what they want. But the audience should still be able to get a grasp of exactly what the main character wants, or roughly what the main character wants from the get-go. So what is Violet doing in this military school in order to prove that she isn't fragile? Does she think, like, is her want that she wants to, like, I don't know, this is so crazy, because, like, I also have a desire to prove that I'm not fragile, but I don't go out of my way to do a specific thing that is an overarching goal. I might, like, ignore the fact that I should use my cane a few times, but I'm not doing like I'm gonna go run a marathon and I'm gonna train for a marathon to prove that I can run in a straight line, like I'm not doing that, but that would be an example of somebody with my condition trying to prove that they're not fragile.
Yeah, and I think that's the big problem with these books, is it goes from her trying to just survive military college and wanting to prove she's not weak to it's all about the boy. It's kind of like what happened with the Disney's Ariel that annoys the shit out of me, is it goes from her talking about wanting to be part of the world of the humans, being fascinated with humans in general, to Eric.
Yeah, that is the thing about the original Little Mermaid that Hans Christian Andersen wrote, is that, like, it became both about being a human and the boy at the same time, and the only way to become human is to make a human fall in love with you and say that they love you, and specifically the romantic manner. So, like, it became like a double-edged sword where, like, she gets both things she wants if she can get the one thing that she wants. But we lack that in the Disney Little Mermaid. You are correct.
So, are you ready?
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep going on tangents this time.
No, I'm perfectly fine with the tangents.
Okay.
Makes things interesting.
Okay.
So that Xaden isn't beyond the wards and tempted to channel more, he becomes a professor!
Okay, alright, I'm gonna hold my tongue for this.
So he becomes a professor. He's going to teach them battle tactics, basically, so that they can wield signets against everything. And Violet gets real upset about this, because dating a teacher is against the Codex. And she even, like, says telepathically to Xaden, like, I think our relationship just ended. And Xaden's like, that's not happening.
You're just now realizing that your relationship is not necessarily... No!
So they go to try to get an exemption because the fact that their relationship is an existing relationship before he became a professor. And General Ato says, no. He's like, no, I'm going to make your life miserable, and if you fuck up one time, my little spies are going to see you, and we're going to kick you out. Mind you, this is a military that is running low on people and dragon riders, so they need the dragon riders, so kicking them out would be stupid.
Oh.
Also, this is just a petty little bitch man who's angry at a literal 20-year-old, and he's like 50.
She can't even drink yet. What the fuck is your problem?
No, she can drink in this universe. Her friends drink alcohol.
She's 20. What the fuck is your problem?
I don't know her exact age. I just know she's 20s. Like, early 20s. So I'm just saying 20.
Okay.
So Dane gets her dad's journal from his father's office, but it's passcode locked. And if she gets the password wrong, it will cause ink to release and ruin all of his research. The key to the password is a little code riddle thing that says, first love is irreplaceable. And it's 6 letters. So her friends are like, well, clearly it's going to be Lilith, which is the name of her mom. And she's like, no, it's not going to be Lilith. It's not that simple. And she gets the answer on accident during one of Xaden's combat classes.
How?
I'm so glad you asked.
I have great confusion and great terror at the same time.
Remember, this is a romantasy book. You can't have romantasy without love triangles, right?
Oh god.
Right?
Oh god, no.
So her ex-boyfriend that Xaden doesn't know about, because God forbid these people have a single normal conversation, and who happens to be the oldest prince of Navarre, and his name is Halden, by the way, shows up in the middle of class. The look you're giving me.
Just keep going.
So Halden is simply there to bring Violet a note from Viscount Torturous, one he violated her privacy to read, by the way, and tells her that he likes the plan that the note entails, and that we should just begin this immediately, which the plan is to go find this citrine thing that they can give to the King of Deverelli, because there's more places than just 2 now. And her ex-boyfriend is like, oh, aren't you going to ask how I'm doing? Don't you know my younger brother is missing? Yes, she does. He's at the war college. He has a dragon. And he's like, look, I know how things ended. And she's like, you mean by me walking in with you cheating on me? He's like, I was mourning the loss of my older brother. And she's like, bitch, please. So he's like, look, I hear that you're with Xaden. And she's like, well, if you would like to know, we're not together because he's a professor now. But yes, he is still the love of my life. And Xaden's like, well, the only love of lives that dragons have is their dragon. And he very clearly states that he wants to, get with her. And so he goes to tuck some hair behind her ear like a creep. And then he gets thrown into a wall because Xaden saw it and was like, no, I don't think so. And
Xaden, this is a prince.
This is a prince. You're a professor. But mind you, Xaden's an insecure man-child.
Okay.
He then, and I'm going to flip to my book here, he then tells Halden that Violet has not thought about her since she laid eyes on Xaden. Because again, insecure man-child.
I despise that every ex in these kinds of books have to be, like, the shittiest people on Earth. Like, exes in fiction...
so shitty.
Yeah, exes in fictional stories are either Hallmark guys that are way too good for those girls because they just accept everything and move on, or they're, like, the shittiest exes to ever ex. Or there's a third secret option in which they're just dead and it's traumatized the main character and we're not talking about it because it traumatizes them and is a whole plot point.
Yeah. Now, I even asked my husband about this because I already was like, girl, red flag, get out of this relationship. I don't care if his dick is 1,000,000 miles long. Number one, that's painful as fuck. You ain't fitting that in. Get out. I even asked my husband, I'm like, look, if my ex was like, hey, you know, I want to get it on and starts, like, trying to tuck hair behind my ear, because in Xaden's words, how dare the man try and touch her? Well, what would you do? And he's like, well, fucking nothing. I'd be like, she can handle herself. Like, if your first instinct is physical violence, there's something wrong with you.
Okay. Alright.
All you gonna say?
Yeah. The voice is just gonna get higher.
You look so nervous.
I just don't understand people. I don't understand these fictional people, and I don't understand the normal people either.
Rebecca, blink twice if you need help. Please. That's all I can say after reading this book. Blink twice if you need help.
I know that in my relationships, I am the one that gets confrontational first with other people.
Fair.
But even then, I normally don't resort to violence. And if I do, I'm not the first one throwing punches.
I had times where I have been insecure in my relationship with Dalton, especially when we were first dating. But that's because I have self-esteem issues about myself, not because of anything like that. Like, I remember there was a really beautiful girl that was in the drama department, and he was doing a minor for drama, so they were, you know, around each other quite a few times. And so I projected my own insecurities on her because, in my opinion, I thought she was very beautiful. I'm also, you know, I'm aesthetically attracted to women more than men. Yeah. And at one time, I happened to be walking on campus, and I saw that he happened to be having lunch with another girl. And it was completely innocent. It was the fact that they happened to be there at the same time, if I remember correctly. But I didn't know about it, so naturally my brain went to worst case scenario. You know, because that's what my brain does. I have terrible anxiety. I have terrible self-esteem issues. I never went and confronted them. Like, if I had issues, I would talk to Dalton about it in a mature fashion, you know, let him know that I'm insecure. Like, when my now ex-best friend wanted to be polyamorous, they mentioned me originally. They did not mention they wanted my husband. So when I found out, and there had been drinking involved, and Dalton agreed to it without realizing what he agreed to, I talked to him afterwards. I'm like, look, this made me feel really sick. It made me wonder if I was in the way about you two, because they had really similar interests. So to me, they were a better match in my brain. So, like, it put me in a really bad headspace because my friend sprung this on me without warning. So for me, that is the type of situation where it could be similar to this, but it was never, I went physically violent on anyone.
Yeah.
It was you talk it out like a real fucking person.
So, like, on my end of things, and part of why I'm so confused, I get confrontational, but it's always about, like, when I see my partners being uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's different.
And you know about my very extensive dating history and the fact that I'm poly.
Yeah.
which is now something that a lot of people know. And I'm pretty sure you are aware of how many times people have left me for another person, as well as how many times I've been cheated on.
Yeah, it's possible.
Let's see, how many people have cheated on me? 3 people.
Including, like, a major relationship that was not a good relationship.
Yeah. Well, 2 of them were major relationships that were not good. So 3 people. Actually, no, all 3 of the people who cheated on me were pieces of shit. Just looking back. Because I keep forgetting one of them...
they cheated. That's the first sign that they're a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, the first one that ever did it to me, not including the people who left me for another person, because I have been also left for another person. The first one who did it was not the 2 that you think about. And it's, like, the one relationship I had in secret, other than my sister knowing about it. And it was mostly for her sake, which is hilarious, because I didn't realize that she was that much older than me. And I was 17 at the time. So, like, there's one example. But, like, first relationship with somebody, I was, like, 14, and she left me for somebody else. And I, in every relationship I've been in, have never truly felt insecure about the other person talking to their exes. Ever.
Yeah. Well, and one of the big things is the reason why I did not have entirely unjustified feelings when it came to the situation. Like, and this is not like a therapy session or anything. This is our way of saying we know that reacting like this is wrong. Like, when I was 13, I didn't know I was dating a guy until he broke up with me, and he broke up with me for someone else.
Yeah.
Like, I have a very long history of people leaving me, especially friends. So for me, it is really common for my brain to go, oh, well, I'm just in the way.
Wow.
Like,
that's
I'm
fucked.
not needed.
I'm so sorry.
It's really common. It's also why, like, for example, the same friend that told me that they were interested in my husband. Like, this is a friend I was friends with for 10 years. And I would go through phases where we would talk for, like, almost every minute of the day. And then there'd be radio silence. And so if they stopped talking to me in the middle of a conversation, my brain went to, I did something wrong. I said something wrong. They're upset with me. Because that's just what my brain does. Mind you, like, it was more logical for my brain to just be like, oh, they're at work, or something like that. But the other thing was, because we chatted through Discord, I could see they were still online. So there was a very extensive history of them constantly being on their phone around me, but I would always be left unread. So if having a friendship or even a relationship where you have a friend or a boyfriend who is going to react violently, or if you're the person who reacts violently, maybe take a minute.
Yeah.
Like, just take a minute. And also, if you're the one where, if you're like me and you're in you have self-esteem issues, number 1, please talk to a therapist. But number 2, if you're constantly wondering if you've done something wrong, maybe reconsider that relationship, please.
Yeah.
Woo.
Woo.
Don't be violent, please.
Sometimes I look back at my first relationship and I think about how chill I was with the fact that she was obviously leaving me for somebody else. And sometimes I wonder if I was the psychopath in that situation. For the lovely audience to know, I walked into my freshman year of high school not really looking for a relationship. I've never really looked for a relationship ever in my life. I've always stumbled into relationships. And my rule of thumb since middle school was always like, the first relationship is not going to last, so it doesn't matter who I date as long as I have general affections for them.
Yeah.
And when resident play person who's dated a lot of people started growing interest to me, I let it happen because I was generally interested back, and I thought that they were the perfect person to date for the first time. And knew that they were probably going to break up with me for somebody else by the time that everything was over, because I already saw their pattern, and I already was like, yeah, it's the first relationship I'll ever have. It's not going to last. So maybe I'm the psychopath because I was super chill when they broke up with me. Maybe a little too. It actually freaked her out when my reaction. Did I ever tell you about this?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
But I do know that you're you had a lot healthier perspective on dating because you didn't come from a heavily conservative family.
Yeah.
Like, I remember you telling me, like, dating is to gain experience, whereas it was ingrained in me that if you're dating to marry someone.
I think what my mom told me was that dating in high school is for experience and dating in college is to marry.
That's fair. I mean, my dad, like, I didn't want to marry Dalton because my dad told me, oh, you only go to college to get your MRS degree.
Ugh. Oh, my dad said that about so many of my friends. But yeah, the story about how my first, like, significant other, the first person I ever dated broke up with me and why I freaked her the fuck out in that situation. Because I feel like if I don't elaborate, the audience is going to be terrified about why I freaked her out.
That's fair.
So I knew it was coming for at least 2 weeks before it actually happened because I could see her drifting away from me. Mm-hmm. Honestly, in every end of a relationship, you can tell that it's about to happen. Just like typically I can tell I'm about to get into a relationship about a day or two before it actually happens.
Fair.
But that's it. That's the earliest early warning system I get for a relationship is like 1 to 2 days. And I'm like, oh, hey, this has been happening. We're about to date soon. And it's the same thing with breakups. It's like, oh, this has been happening. We're about to break up. Okay. This is the reason why I've only broken up with 2.5 of my relationships. Don't ask about the 0.5.
How is there a 0.5?
We're not going to go into the 0.5. That one's going to take too much time. But so it's the end of spring break. Not spring break. Winter break. It's the end of winter break. The speech and debate team has gathered at the school before winter break is over to hang out and do, like, they say to do speech and debate stuff, but it was really just to hang out. Because honestly, the speech and debate team was a cult back then. And we were both on speech and debate.
Okay.
So we get together to hang out. And all of a sudden, it's just her and I alone sitting at the edge of this situation. It was very obvious that she told them that she's going to break up with me, so they needed to go away. It's so fucking obvious that it was planned ahead of time. But, like, all of a sudden, it's just the two of us sitting alone in the corner. And she literally leans over and whispers in my ear, "I'm breaking up with you." And I just look at her and go, "Okay." To which she repeated what she said a little bit louder. I'm like, "Okay." And this goes back and forth. I don't remember how many times it goes back and forth, but just imagine one person going, "I'm breaking up with you," and then, "Okay," and then gets louder every time, until finally she goes, "Do you know what I'm saying?" Like, "Yes, you and I are no longer dating." "Oh, okay."
Okay, but why do you have to say it that many times to understand that, yeah, okay.
Like, I don't know what she expected from me in breakups.
Like, a scene, I guess?
Like, did you want me to say, like, what happened? Like, it was obvious you were gonna break up with me 2 weeks beforehand. I just, like, okay. Like, I walked into the relationship knowing it wasn't gonna last in the first place. I was perfectly fucking fine.
Who leans in and whispers, "I'm breaking up with you," though?
Oh my god. A 14-year-old. For the record, we stayed friends for like a year after this. We stopped talking for a while, and then over COVID, I actually like saw that she was living in the same city as me, and we are still friends on Steam. So I messaged her and was like, "Hey, how's it going? I see you live nearby." And she apologized for how she acted back in the day, but like fam, we were all kids. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I was a weirdo.
Aren't we all a little weird?
I think that breakup might take, like, in retrospect as an adult, I understand why it freaked somebody out. But I was just so ready for it that I just was like, okay.
That's fair. Also, I would just like to comment. So, this book is very much pro being able to have sex with people, right? Like, it's made very clear from book one. Violet already has a list of people she slept with. Everyone does, basically.
Okay.
That's one of the big things. It's a very pro-sex book. So Xaden reacting so strongly about her having an ex-boyfriend is ridiculous.
It is. Also, I just remembered that she's like, she had that moment where she was like, "Oh my god, he's a duke now. I'm dating a duke." Her ex is the prince.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. After that prince slap of a scene, she goes to her room and puts in the name of her mother's dragon, and it unlocks a journal.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
Wait, what? How did we get from prince to dragon?
Because he said that everyone knows that the true love of a dragon rider is their dragon.
Oh, and then, okay, so the first love of the guy was her, and then the true love of her would be the dragon. Okay.
Yeah, because the dad didn't have a dragon. He was a scribe.
Ah, okay.
So the journal is literally her dad's research, which is all about the history of the second uprising of Crowlin. Don't ask, because I'm not telling you what Crowlin is, because I don't really know what Crowlin is. Crowlin was, I guess, this kingdom in the same area, and there was an uprising because they done fucked up, and you find out later it's because they made a deal with Deverelli to trade in dragons, and they couldn't come through, so they died. Because you don't make a deal with Deverelli, you can't keep.
Yeah.
There's also a letter for her in it that is from her dad, and it says that if her mother and him are dead, she needs to protect this knowledge with her life, and that the connection between the second uprising and the pursuit of Feathertails will be alarming but intriguing. He tells her if time has run out, she needs to forsake her scribe robes, because her dad thought she would be a scribe, and seek the weapon. What is the weapon? I don't know. By writing to Corden and then Deverelli, so she can go find a bookseller. He also says that he has made sure to train Dane in Crowlish so that she can take him with her. He ends the note by saying to trust only Mira.
Who's Mira?
Her sister.
Ah, that's right. That person exists.
Yes.
Understood.
Mira is actually one of the only likable characters in this book, by the way.
As sisters typically aren't. I love my sister. I genuinely do.
But usually in books, they're assholes, yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking at you, Jude's sister I don't remember the name of.
Taryn.
There we go, Taryn. So after she finishes reading this, there's a knock at the door, and it's Xaden, and he storms into her room, and she's super worried. She's like, what are you doing here? You can't be caught in here. You'll get in trouble. And he just says, did you love him? And she's like, what? He's like, did you love him? She's like, you're talking about Halden? And he's clearly upset and jealous. And when she says, not in the way I love you, the man's distraught. He, grips the edge of the desk. And I'm gonna read what he says verbatim, okay? Because I marked the page. So she's like, yeah, it was really hard for me to see you near Kat. And he's like, his ex-girlfriend, he's like, I never loved Kat. That means a damn. Sure, the idea of he swallows like he might puke. Halden putting his hands on you makes me want to put him back in the wall, especially given the fact that he can touch you and I can't. But knowing that he's been there, Xaden puts his hand just beneath my collarbone. Her fucking heart like it fucking matters. Has me consider murder, so there's no chance of him worming his royal ass back in. My man has threatened treason.
So, for a book that is so sex positive, there sure is a lot of purity culture in here.
Right?
Oh my god, that was pure purity culture right there.
My dude, calm your ass down. It doesn't matter. My woman has literally been trying to fuck you this entire goddamn book. And you're worried that her ex-boyfriend might sleep with her? That she's even interested?
I think that humans are stupid little creatures and we do not deserve the earth.
I agree. I would also like to comment, this is not a good relationship. If your boyfriend is doing this, please leave him.
Yes.
For the love of God.
Yes, please. Can we get somebody who isn't Xaden? Can Xaden be the secret twist villain in the 4th book, and that's why he's in his villain era, and then she ends up with somebody else?
I hope so. I fucking hope so.
Oh my god.
I really hope so. This is manipulative and so toxic. It's okay for Xaden to have exes, but not her? Is that what this is saying?
Yes, because it's purity culture.
It's so stupid. So she goes back on this little quest thingy, the one that Halden had the full note for, with a group of people who absolutely suck, plus Mira, and Xaden to get a citrine from a city in Primorial that's now abandoned because it was attacked a while ago. And naturally, they're sent with a bunch of people who have no idea what the fuck they're doing and are absolutely unreasonable. One of them is a cadet who has not even been outside the wards and is just there as a spy for General Atos.
An obvious spy. Congratulations.
So while Zayden, Mira, and a few others go into the building to get the citrine, because it used to be in like a museum or whatever, Violet is standing guard with the other cadet, and she's so fucking scared. She's wanting to wield her fire powers at anything that makes noise, including a bottle that just blows in the wind. And Violet tries to tell her, like, hey, you need to calm down and not do that because it will attract the venom. And the other cadet is like, excuse me? I am a wing leader. You need to listen to me. And Violet's like, bitch, we're both cadets out here. What the fuck are you saying? Like, we are not at school. This is real life. Calm down.
Ma'am, this is a military.
That's gonna just be the tagline for this episode.
Yeah.
So Miss Trigger Happy gets scared shitless and uses her powers when a door opens. So she sets the general, who is the leader of this group, on fire and kills him. And sets the city on fire in the process.
Ma'am, this is a military.
So now the Venom know where they are, and they have to escape a burning city and the Venom. And the girl is like, oh my god, this is all my fault. I'm like, yeah, bitch! Yeah, it is! What the fuck are you doing out here?
Wait, which girl did this again? Was this Violet or the other one?
The other one.
Okay.
No, Violet tried to prevent it.
Okay.
And tried to save the general, but he was already dead. And then another guy dies while leaving. A venom, like, eats him or whatever. So, luckily, they got the citrine, but there was also a note from Theophany. I'm going to pronounce her name so many different ways, because I don't know how to pronounce this. That was there, and that means that there's a spy somewhere in the military college. And this will not come up for all 527 pages of this book. This has nothing to do with anything.
First of all, Sacre Bleu, a spy in the military college, who would have guessed? Second of all, great planting, no payoff, I guess. Congratulations.
Yeah, this literally goes nowhere. She doesn't say anything. They don't look into it. Nothing.
Okay.
That could have been what most of the book was about, was trying to find the spy, but no, we go on a quest to find dragons.
I do like the dragons more than the humans, though. So.
I do too. I like the dragons. The dragons are the only good part of this book. That is why I'm 100% convinced that when Christopher Poloni left a thing on this book, I believe 100% he didn't read the book. You're telling me the man who wrote Aragon is gonna read this book?
I am so sorry to Dalton. But the man who wrote Aragon also wrote a blank toast fantasy book, though I do agree it's better than this. It's better than this, but it is a little bit of a milquetoast fantasy.
It was written by a child.
And that's why I give it so much leeway. But I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be that nice to a child.
I think he was 16.
It's a well-written book for the age that he wrote it.
Yeah, it's kind of like reading Harry Potter, except better.
Yeah.
And the magic makes more sense in that book.
Yes.
One of these times, I'm gonna have Dalton be the commentator for just have it be about the Aragon books and how much the movies suck.
I'm down with that. Honestly,
April Fools, Dalton's the host.
If Dalton ever wants to make shorts where he responds to the shit we say in here, he can. I don't give a shit. I think that would be funny if our editor made the short slightly different by adding his opinion.
Dalton just makes a short of him explaining the book absolutely terribly.
Yes, yeah.
I would like to comment that Dalton just shouted from the living room where he's playing a video game, "What am I hosting?" Okay, so there's then a meeting about who should replace the two writers that died in this Quest Squad thing, because, they died. And then Halden, being the smug asshole he is, tries to put his own people in charge, saying the mission was a success because they have the item she wanted. Violet's like, bitch, no. You ain't saddling me with people I can't trust. I ain't letting that happen. You're gonna put people I want in this, or it's not happening at all. Okay? Okay, cool. Also, it's my dragon. I do what I want. Because dragons don't answer to people, remember? That's supposed to be a thing, even though dragons sure seem to answer to people in this book. Because, let's be real here, if the dragons actually didn't answer to people, they'd be eating people.
Yeah. Why do these dragons need these humans in the first place?
There's some minor talk about it, but it literally is not important at all to the story.
Great.
Whatsoever. I don't even remember where it's at, but it's something about how when dragons first bonded with humans. I know there's a little bit of a talk with it when we finally meet Andarna's kind, but it's not important. It literally has no bearing on this book. And it's literally just a single line.
Great.
So.
What wonderful world building.
Yeah, it's okay. We get minor bits of lore. Just minor bits. Mind you, a lot of the bits of lore are these quotes that are before chapters that I don't bother reading because there's no point. Like, one of them is, the most useless word in the language of aristocracy has always been, and forever will be, love. Marriage is a necessary evil to secure the line. Nothing more, save love for your children. Bit of an oxymoron there. Confiscated correspondence of Fen Ryerson to unknown intended recipient. It's shit like that. At one point, there's a letter from Xaden to Violet.
Okay.
It does not matter.
Alright. Yep. Got it.
That's also how we get bits of what her dad wrote.
Oh.
Yeah.
How useful.
Anyway, Halden agrees to let her pick the squad, even though they still question who she picks a little bit. And then they fly to the home of the Viscount Takaris, and Xaden tricks Halden into saying he is not a professor on this mission. He is just a random-ass duke and a random-ass rider. So Xaden picks Violet up and takes her to his room.
Like, that's gonna work? You got a spy on the team!
She's not on this team.
Oh, okay.
Remember? Because Violet picked the team this time.
Oh,
it includes Rydok, Kat, Marin, I think Traeger, and Mira, and a guy named Drake, who I think is supposed to be Mira's love interest.
Alright, cool. I guess that works. Totally works. Absolutely. Go have sex, kids.
So, Takaris knocks on their door before anything can happen, and says, the prince cannot arrive in Deverelli in a basket like he did to my home, so I'm gonna take the prince on a ship, and you're just gonna follow afterwards. Because I forgot to tell you, the prince was carried in a basket, because he can't fly.
How big of a basket?
Big enough to carry people.
Okay.
A prince and his guards.
A coffin, then, is what I'm gonna imagine. I'm imagining a dragon carrying a basket that is vaguely human-shaped. And it's a coffin.
Well, they were carried by griffins, I think. But close enough.
Yes.
Flying magic thing.
Flying magic thing.
They didn't tell me what the basket looked like. They just told me it was a basket. So for all I know, it looks like a giant dick.
Yes. It's shaped after Xaden's penis. No, wait. He has a tiny penis. I forgot that we talked about that. Because he's hard all the time when he looks at her, and he gets away with that. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Unless he says so.
Yeah, like, we still have not gotten his size, so I think it works.
He's got a tiny penis. Not everybody can be David Bowie in the Labyrinth.
I'm hoping Rebecca Yarros hears us say that, just so she can start the size in the next book.
Are you afraid of your peanut butter jars, Rebecca?
She just goes to her publisher. Look, I know I have to put a size in there, okay? There's these two bitches
who get, like...
who are saying that he has a micro peen.
How else is he tented up all the time and getting away with it, my girl? Also,
bitches is a gender-neutral term.
It is.
It's kind of like saying my dude. Like...
Yeah. I got you.
Alright, so Takaris leaves with Prince Boy number 2, because, his older brother died, so that he can secure the audience with the king and ensure that the dragons aren't going to be murdered on sight when they arrive on the island.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so the next morning, about 12 hours after the prince and the viscount leave, if I remember correctly, they head out, and eventually they get to a point where they're out of range of the continent, and they begin to feel the magic going away, because one of the big things is the continent is the only area that has magic. Why? I don't know. It's not explained to me. If it is, I don't remember seeing it in the book.
Wait, so, magic is so essential to life that when the Venin steal magic from life, it makes barren wastelands, but the magic only exists in the continent.
Yes.
Okay. Alright. Suspension of disbelief disrupted, but we move forward.
And so, they land in Deverelli, and it's really clear that Violet is the only one who can communicate with her dragons, because she's special.
Special.
There's actually a real reason that they don't actually say, but you can infer. It's the fact that she's bonded to Andarna.
That makes sense.
The special dragon.
Special dragon.
For the special lady.
Yes.
So the dragons go off to hunt in an area Takaris says the king has allowed them to hunt in, and that Halden has a meeting with the king later that day. And they're like, dope, we're gonna go rest up for a bit. And then they go to a bookstore. And there's a bit of a fighting in the bookstore because fire breathers, you know, they don't like dragon riders on this continent. It's pretty fair, honestly.
Yes.
And then the owner of the bookstore comes up and she's like, you must be Aster. I think his name was Aster. Aster Sorrengail's daughter Violet. And she's like, yeah, that's me. How the fuck do you know my dad? And she's like, I have the books he left for you. And she's like, he left me books? I'm like, why the fuck else would you be in a bookstore, idiot?
Okay.
So then this old lady mistakes Xaden for Dane because her dad thought Violet would be with Dane, which causes a mild moment.
Makes sense, okay.
Yeah, it does make sense, honestly.
Yeah.
And then she makes Violet answer 3 questions to prove she is ready for the books her dad left her. One of which is how we know about the whole they wanted dragons thing, and that's why the Croveland uprising happened, or whatever. And then Mira is obviously jealous that their dad left the books only for Violet to collect. And then Violet gets the books and they head back to the Viscount's place. And then there's spice.
Yep.
They doubled down on the spice in this book.
Yeah.
Because I think there's 1 in book 1 and 2 in book 2. So is it going to be 4 in book 4?
I mean...
Because there's 3 in book 3.
What else does she want in life? She wants to prove that she's not fragile and she wants that dick.
Also, there was mention of birth control in book 1, but there's been no mention of it in book 2 or 3, so I'm just assuming she forgot to take it.
Okay.
Since there's no magic on this island, spicy scene. Because Xaden, this is another part where I had to talk to Dalton about this. Okay? Obviously, if sex is involved, there's a conversation with the straight man in my life.
Understandable.
Xaden went to take a shower or a bath in Rydok's room. Because he's like, well, I'm going to give you space because you need to soak your sore muscles because you've been riding on horses all day because there's no dragons in this universe. There are only horses. Side note, I asked my husband, no, riding on a horse does not mean you're horny later. It hurts your dick. I wouldn't know, I don't have one.
It hurts your ass, too.
It does. It really does. So then Xaden comes in and he sees Violet in the tub and her hair unbound. Are hair fetishes a thing?
I'm assuming there is, based off of the way that it has been treated throughout history, but I don't understand it.
Okay. So he is so besought by the sight of her nakedness and her hair unbound that he just can't help himself, and he just, smashes his mouth into hers. It literally says crashes his mouth into mine, which... Not a good way to describe a kiss, by the way. If your mouth is crashing onto mine, there's a good chance I'm kneeing you in the balls, because it's assault.
The only time I have seen the mouths crash together and it felt like a appropriate spot is when 2 people who have been apart because of circumstances outside of their control finally meet back up together and they just run at each other. But, that's their bodies are crashing together in the first place.
Mind you, not only does the hair thing feel very fetishy, she also has given no inkling that she's interested in spicy time. She literally says, I'm feeling as good as it gets, clean fed and ready to curl up with the man I love, which to me says it's time to cuddle, not it's time to break a table, because that's what happens.
Depends on the straight person you're asking.
Maybe.
No, literally. It depends on the straight person you're asking. There are genuinely straight people out there that just, the assumption that you're sharing in your bed with your partner means that you're probably going to be having sex. That's not how it works in my house. I've had somebody tell me, and this is the stupidest thing, because most people I ask about this are like, yeah, no, that's stupid. One person told me that snuggling means sex and cuddling means no sex.
No, they mean the same thing.
I agree, and that is what 99% of people agree with us. You're good.
My husband and I were sleeping in the same bed before we were even dating, and there was no assumption of anything.
Yes, that's normal. There's a genuine part of, culture, specifically around, purity culture, that assumes that if you are sharing a bed, you are fucking.
Yeah, it's the same people where they assume that because it's your wedding night, you have to do stuff. No, you don't.
No. Tradition states that it does, because there are traditions in most European cultures, European Central cultures, and I think also other cultures with specifically, not monarchy, but essentially any culture that has a system where a woman was sold into marriage to further of hereditary bloodline. Generally, in those cases, wedding night means sex. But there's also cultures that exist in other parts of the world where, no, it does not mean sex.
The other big thing was copulation was the way of saying that the marriage was final.
Yes.
You couldn't annul it.
Yes.
Nowadays, it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, nowadays it doesn't mean shit. Like, it genuinely shouldn't mean shit. But back in the day, like, the expectation that you would have sex on your wedding night came from making sure that the marriage was final. With some exceptions being, like, you wouldn't sleep with your bride if your bride was too young kind of situation.
It's possible it did, though.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely happens sometimes.
And mind you, it not meaning shit today also depends on culture.
Yes.
So, we now have the exact same sex scene that happened in book 1, except this time, instead of breaking a wardrobe, I'm still wanting to know how they broke the wardrobe. Was it with her lightning? I don't remember. They have sex on a table this time, and she doesn't produce lightning. The table just breaks from it rockin', which, I don't know what sex you're having, Rebecca, but things don't move that violently.
Interesting.
And that's a really unstable table.
It is a really unstable table. Can't agree. But it's also a fetish.
Yeah, it is a fetish. I know too much about Rebecca Yarros from reading these books. And then they finish on the floor, and there's a weird part, like, again, I had to talk to my husband about this. Number 1, he does not just see me naked and assume that's what's happening. Number 2, consent, please. And no, kissing and, like, hands on body does not equal consent. But there's also a weird scene where he kind of starts doing and again, the word shatter is used. He kind of starts doing the aftercare before he finishes.
What?
Like, so, mind you, in most romance books, it's usually written that they come together. This time, no, she comes first, he comes after. And it literally comments on how he's, like, whispering against her mouth as she's trembling as a contented mess and things like that. And he kind of, like, puts her on his back, soft strokes of his hands and stuff like that as he's still pounding into her. Like, he's, like, doing soft touches of, like, there, pet, come down from your shattering. And then he's still going, and then he finishes.
Interesting.
And then they just lay there, and then someone knocks on the door.
I just don't think the multitasking is that easy.
No. Mind you, I'm not a man. I've had to ask my husband about this before. He's a one-track mind, okay? The man can't even do something on his phone and talk at the same time. If he's going, and that's all that's happening. Aftercare happens after he finishes.
No, I'm, like, thinking, because, like, I'm thinking about my own experiences as well in the midst of this. And, like,
yeah.
Aftercare is always after everything is done. If somebody comes early, then you just have a quick, like, slow down to assess what the situation is. And then you either stop because the person's no longer feeling it, or you keep going so that the other person keeps going. Like, it's just easier to have the aftercare after.
And that's usually why romance novels have them come together most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care in this case, I think it's weird that you're saying that you're just a content little mess on the floor. Like, essentially, I'm assuming not moving, and he's just continuing to go.
This would have been such a great moment for some good representation in the sense that most couples don't come together. In the sense of, like, typically if you come before your partner and you're still down with going at it afterwards, because you don't always feel like going at it after coming. If you're still feeling like it's good to keep going, then typically, like, the feeling that comes from that doesn't require aftercare, because it's just nice to see your partner having a good time.
Yeah.
And that's all, like, you could write an entire internal thing about, like, that experience. But instead you took a during care approach?
It was weird. Like, it took me a minute to realize that he even finished, because my brain completely skipped over.
The level of confuse I have right now. Aftercare is just after. There's a reason it's called after.
It was really weird to read that, and Dalton even said, because I read it to him, he felt like there was a bit of a saltiness to her just kind of laying there, and he finishes, and then nothing is said other than "you're so beautiful." Like, this book is when I really started feeling the Xaden does not love her in that way. Like, in book 1 and 2, I could buy that Xaden was in love with her, but not that she was in love with Xaden. And this one, I don't buy either.
Yeah, like, that's fucked.
It's really bad. I also want to know, how tall was the table? Because I've tried that. It's not comfortable for either party involved.
The audience is learning a lot about us today.
Like, when we first moved into our house, we tried it. It's not comfortable.
I've been to your house.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
You've seen my table.
I've seen your table, yes.
Don't worry, it gets cleaned regularly. And nothing ever actually happened on the table. We realized it was uncomfortable real quick.
Okay. That's a sentence. That is a sentence to be uttered for the world to hear.
Dalton from the living room. It's been disinfected since then.
I believe you guys. I trust. I'm just, like, there's a part of my brain that is, like still loading symbol here.
You're trying to imagine the asexual doing that.
No, I'm not. I'm trying actively to go, like, I don't want to think about these two people I know in the exact room that they're telling me, in the exact table that they're telling me. I've had tea at that table.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I won't tell you about anything else then.
No, it's like it's like my parents did, like, specifically my dad's done this before. No, it's not that you're the first person to do this to me. You're far from the first person to do this to me. It's just, it doesn't get easier.
This is also in the context of it's related to the episode. I'm not your dad.
It's true.
We're the same age.
We're the same age. Our birthdays are literally, like, what, 2.5 weeks apart?
I think so, yeah. Like I said, someone knocks on the door.
Okay.
As they're just laying on the fucking floor. And they find out that the king of Deverelli has decided he's keeping Halden.
Okay.
He's just kidnapping the prince.
Oh, okay.
So Xaden, because he's an aristocrat, he takes Violet with him, saying that she is his consort, so that they can get led into the palace to go save Prince Boy. And so they get to the palace, and it's a bit weird, because this is one of the areas that feels a little Arabic coded, and I don't know if it's on purpose, but the king is portrayed as very harsh and barbaric, and it was a bit uncomfy. Like, yeah. You know the scene in Aladdin where she accidentally steals an apple because she doesn't understand how money works, and the guy's about to cut off her hand? Yeah, imagine that. It turns out that Halden not only promised something he couldn't give, which is a big no-no in Deverelli, but his entire plan was, while he was meeting with the king, he's gonna have his guard go steal some things that belong to Navarre, or used to. Because Halden doesn't know how shit works.
Alright, so international incident leads to a bigger international incident?
Yeah, and Violet tries to explain it away to us by saying that, oh, Halden just doesn't know the truth. But literally, it is explained. And the king even says it to him, that these items were given to Deverelli in deals made with them, to which Halden says, no, they were stolen because Deverelli took advantage of our desperation when we made those deals. That's not how this works.
A deal is a deal, whether or not it was made in desperation.
Yeah, this man is just stupid.
Yes.
And this man's supposed to be the future king of a country.
I would say this poor country, but this country's already filled with fascists, so, like, you know. I mean,
yeah. So the king stabs Halden's hand with a dagger.
Okay.
And says that he's a thief. And he calls forth his panthers, because it's their dinner time. To which Violet then realizes that one of the things on the table is the head of Halden's guard. And then realizes that they're feeding her body to the panthers.
I hate this. Keep going so we can get through it.
So, Xaden and Violet are trying to continue negotiations with the king to try and save Halden's ass, because the king wants to kill him. Or sell him into the black slavery deals, apparently. Or just blackmail into having the king pay him for Halden. And Halden keeps fucking shit up and saying, no, we're not going to agree with this. I won't stand that. I'm the prince. To which the king of Deverelli just says, I'm tired of this. Guards, kill all of them. Fair.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Fair. So yeah, a fight breaks out, and when guards try to murder Violet, like, one of them, I think, like, punches her in the face or something. Like, one of them hurts her. Xaden is somehow able to channel on an island where there's no magic, and uses his powers.
Okay.
I don't know how this works. Don't ask.
Life is full of inconsistencies, and we must accept that fact.
So, Violet has Indarna put one of the panthers in her mouth, and basically just tells the king, look, you're gonna negotiate with me, because I'm his consort. Halden, you're gonna shut the fuck up, or this panther dies. So the king's like, okay. Okay, yeah. Same deal as what I was going to give to the Duke. And she's like, yeah. And in return, you'll accept the Citrina's payment for Halden's crimes. I'll give you this shell that's Andarna's eggs shell. But also, we're going to have trade. You're going to let us use this island as a little spot to go to the other islands. And the one condition that the king asks is that Halden never step foot on his island ever again.
That's reasonable.
So valid. The motherfucker wouldn't shut the hell up in this scene, and I was so done with it. I hope they cast the right actor to play Halden when they make this into a movie.
Well, it's being made into a movie. I forgot about that.
You have to give a guy that's really punchable.
Yes. Man, that was an international incident that became somehow an even larger international incident that got fixed because of a panther. A panther. Yeah. Not a prince or a princess or somebody who actually means something to this king. A panther.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna read you one of the little quote things just to give you another example of the dumb, stupid, lore-dumping quotes that are in the beginning of all these chapters that literally have nothing to do with shit. We couldn't just have her read these. No, we literally, since book 1, there's been random excerpts.
Yeah.
This one just says, in the first 24 hours of removal from source magic, the subject, an ASIM, presented as even-tempered, but withdrawal quickly revealed the subject's true nature, requiring the subject's immediate transfer to stage 2 of the study. Her results can be found with group 33B under category Death by Fire, and subsequently part 46C under category Death by Poison. A study of the anatomy of the enemy by Captain Dominic Prischel. Yeah, that's the kind of dumb shit that are at the beginning of these chapters, as our way of getting lore.
Okay, I'm confused. Continue.
We go back, she has the journals, and it cuts to a couple weeks later, when they're gonna go officially do the big mission to find Andarna's kind, knowing that they will be ignoring direct orders by not coming back to the college after visiting every island. So they go with the acknowledgement that they might get court-martialed after they come back.
Okay, but they just solved an international incident because the prince is stupid. That's the problem. That's the real thing that happened there. Like, don't court-martial them for saving the prince's life.
Fair, but this is a different thing. They're going on a different mission now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, literally, Halden doesn't even have to answer for all the bullshit that just happened. They're going on the official mission to go find her kind now. That they're able to use that island as a stopping ground, which they don't really do, by the way. So all of that was for nothing.
Great.
And the reason why they're not going to go back between each island that they stop at after trying to find Andarna's kind is because they realize it will take too much time to do all of that, and they wouldn't find Andarna's kind, possibly, before the wards of the city in Tirador would fall. Because remember, they're failing.
Yeah.
They're about to leave, and Halden shows up because he's like, well, I'm part of the squad, technically, because I'm the prince, and they will only answer to princes. Mind you, he's not allowed on the fucking island that they'd be used as a stopping ground, so he'd have to be out on a ship without the rest of them. I would just leave without his ass.
Yeah.
So then, Auric shows up. Now, you probably don't remember. Who is Auric? Auric is Halden's younger brother, who's been hiding from his family.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. So he shows up out of the blue, and Halden's like, Cam, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, actually, it's Auric. Don't dead name me. And I'm going, because you fuck shit up, so I'm going. Goodbye.
Reasonable.
He's like, also, yeah, I'm going. I have a dragon. You don't. You're a liability. Fuck off. And so Halden fucks off.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Princey boys.
And this time, Dane is also going in the group.
Oh.
It's also some fun stuff does happen because of Dane and Auric being there, but it's not important to the book. The only big thing is Dane is literally there to be a translator since he knows the different languages, but Auric is fluent in every single language already and just doesn't tell anybody.
Auric, what are you doing?
He literally just starts speaking the languages, and Dane's like, what the fuck am I even here for then? He's like, well, I wanted you to feel useful, and you never asked.
Okay, so Auric's gay for Dane.
Honestly, I hope.
That would be amazing.
Can we get some gay representation? The only gay representation we have is from the first book, where technically Rhiannon was sleeping with someone in a different year that happened to be a woman.
Yes, what wonderful gay representation.
So we get to the first island, and this is when we start to get the minuscule lore dumps. Minuscule. Because each of these islands is about specific gods, because apparently now the gods in this book matter. Did you even remember there were gods in this book?
Nope.
Exactly. The first island is, and I'm sorry, Rebecca, I'm not pronouncing these right. Umbriel? Unbriel, that's what I'm going with. Which is an island that is all about combat and worships the war goddess of Dune.
Okay, so I see where the line is from Greek mythos. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mind you, I'm not going to talk about the whole war goddess thing, because it's not even that important to this book, other than the fact of, it is important to this book, technically.
Great.
And we'll find out in a minute. In order to get a meeting with the queen, they have to go through a test, which is trial by combat. So Xaden volunteers to do it, and the priest is like, dope! Cuts his arm as an offering, and he's in. And then Dane is chosen next, and Violet's like, what the fuck? And there's a bit of a disagreement, because Aric's like, no, I should do it, and Dane, I'm the prince, and Dane's like, bitch, no, you're a cadet, I'm doing it. So she cuts Dane's arm, and then last she cuts Violet's arm. It's like, yep, you're going, kiddo. Good fucking luck.
Okay.
And naturally, so the three each battle an Umbriel champion, and naturally Violet's the only one that wins her match, because she's special. And somehow, even though she doesn't believe it, she causes a lightning strike to happen, and that scares her opponent, so they concede.
Oh, okay.
It's not confirmed that she's the cause of it, but it's pretty heavily implied by other shit that happens.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she can still talk to her fucking dragons.
That makes sense. Okay. I'm still on board.
So, she happened to be battling the queen, who's like, yeah, you weren't supposed to know it was me. And, look, the only way we'll be willing to, fight with you in battles if you give us dragon eggs, because we want dragons.
Everybody wants dragons. Dragons totally don't listen to humans, but they want dragons.
Nope.
They want you.
So, yeah, no luck with this island. There's no dragons on it. They were the first people they've ever seen with dragons. And everyone on this island has silver hair.
Oh, hey.
And Violet sees one girl that has hair just like hers.
Yeah, I was curious when silver hair was going to be important, because we met that silver-haired lady earlier, and they were talking about silver hair.
Yes. And the priestess mentions, it's a good thing they never finished Violet's dedication. To which Violet just thinks the priestess is on some crack or something. She's like, what the fuck? Because they don't dedicate babies anymore.
Violet, I'm sure you have some brain cells.
She does not have brain cells. I clocked it real fast and...
Oh my god. Violet, your dad is from these islands. That's how he knows that person. That's why you have the hair that you have. What the fuck is this dedication bullshit?
So basically, it's been illegal to dedicate babies in whatever god you want for, years, basically.
Okay, that's what dedication is. Got it.
Yeah, you dedicate them to the god. And Dune pops up multiple times, and the reason why I mention this is everyone knows I have a Morrigan altar literally right next to me. She's a goddess of war, and can I just say, for the love of all things holy and unholy, war goddesses are not just about war. Not even Ares is solely about war.
Yeah, true.
Jesus. I'm so tired of...
Not even Athena is just about war?
No. For example, one of the big things in the mythos of the Morrigan stories is there's a scene where after she is injured by Cuchulainn, she disguises herself as an old woman at this little fire thingy. And Cuchulainn comes with her. She convinces him to heal her without him knowing that it's her. And he literally says that if he knew it was her, he wouldn't have done it. But the big thing that points out is even a goddess of war knows there are times that you need to not be at war and you need to rest. Yes. She literally tries to convince the man not to fucking go to battle so many times in those stories.
Yep. I literally just have to point out every history of war and gods of war ever. It's just there.
Let me get to the part where there's an excerpt from her dad's book that is literally about this island. That's how we get the little lore dumps about what the island is these little stupid things. For example, we have the one of, it's unwise to favor one god above the other, because the gods get jealous. Spoiler alert, pagans work with multiple fucking gods.
Yeah.
But basically, it's about how everything on this island is trial by combat, and everything is combat. Here we go. In culture that worships the goddess of war exclusively, blood is the preferred sacrifice and cowardice is the ultimate sin. People who are dedicated to a war goddess would know when to not fight.
Yes. It's
that's their entire purpose.
This is like I'd call it Christian, but a reminder that the Christian god started as a war god and then also adapted more things. But this sounds like just modern day Christianity, and with like no notes of like actual roots of Christianity in general.
Her dad literally comments that the act of threshing and the marvel that dragons have not been seen in Doomvril, because what we call treacherous is their idea of primary school, basically saying they are just barbarians, essentially. Because everything is about war. Everything is about fighting. It reminds me of the way that people used to look at quote-unquote primitive cultures.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
I just need a certain somebody to back the fuck down.
Reminder, this man is married to a general at a war college.
Woman?
Where they just let people die.
Man. Yeah.
But whatever. Alright, so the second island is, I have no idea how to pronounce this, but I'm going to do my best, Vidris. And it is the island that worships the god of wisdom, Hedion.
Vidris. Got it.
And I would like to point out that there's one small point. There's a very big difference between wisdom and knowledge.
Yes, there's a reason why there's 2 different stats in D&D.
And everything that this book shows me is not wisdom, it's knowledge. This is shit you learn. Knowledge is what you learn from books and things like that. Wisdom, you get from experience.
Yep. Street smarts versus book smarts, baby.
Everything in this interaction between all these people just reminds me of that, because I'm like, no, none of this is wisdom. All you were stupid. Yep. This, like, there's literally a dick measuring contest that's a battle of wits, like that one scene in Princess Bride.
Yeah, and like, honestly, it's a very common mistake for authors to do this, because it's really hard to write a smart character if you, like...
Yeah.
Just in general, even if you're smart, it's hard to write a smart character.
Yeah. For example, I've been doing my job forever, but I can't write a manual of how to do my job to save my life, because I just do it.
Yeah.
So, mistaking wisdom and knowledge is super common anyway. It's really forgivable. It's just something that to me was very blatant, especially on an island where the whole thing is about wisdom.
Yeah.
So, this island happens to have Xaden's mother on it.
Whoa.
I didn't even remember his mother was alive.
Plot twist of the century there.
Yeah, I didn't remember she was alive. I knew that the dad was dead. I don't remember if it even came up what happened to his mother or not. But basically, she is married to one of the leaders on this island and has 2 kids with him, because the entire point is Xaden has not seen her since he was 10, because she left after her contract was up.
Good for her. Other than abandoning your children, but good for her, leaving a fascist country.
And she's now happy and has 2 kids, and it literally takes him a minute to realize those 2 kids are hers. Idiot. I'm skipping over him brooding and going straight to they have dinner that night. And Violet brings a special tea blend that would remind Xaden of home, is what she tells the mother, because the leaves are from where he is from. And at this dinner with the leaders, which happens to also be a test of if they're worthy, things go downhill real fast. Xaden mentions that he broke off the engagement he had with Kat, and there's this whole, oh, that's such a unwise thing to do. And he's like, all right, well. And then they basically try to say, okay, yeah, it'd be so good if you guys did get married and all this stuff. And Xaden's like, all right, sure, let's do it. Her name is Violet Sorringale. And it literally takes Violet a minute to realize what he's doing while he's going through this whole thing before he says it's her name. Violet, honey, it's called bluffing.
Yeah.
And so then dessert arrives, and she notices that no one else has forks except them. So she realizes that obviously something's in the cake, and she tells everyone not to touch it. But Garrick happens to have already ate some of his, and he stops breathing, which is great. And then while trying to figure out what was in the cake, she literally asked the guy who poisoned them what was in the cake, and he's like, I'm not fucking telling you. She tells Mira to lock the house down so no one can leave. And she tells him that he and everyone else has also been poisoned because of the tea. And that if he wants to live, he'll tell her what's in the cake.
She's bluffing, right?
No. Someone literally starts throwing up shortly after.
Violet, what the fuck? What, no.
Yeah,
wait.
Good.
Did you assume that, was she at any point before this being like, there's probably gonna be an assassination attempt on us, or did she just do that because?
She just did it because. She knew there'd be a test. She did not know there would be an assassination attempt.
No. 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 I have jumped ship once again. I am in the water. I am drowning.
What's hilarious is the cake was chocolate cake because it's Xaden's favorite. Like, literally the mother had it made because it's Xaden's favorite. She didn't know it was going to be poisoned, by the way. Literally, it goes from she's talking to Xaden, he realized about the whole, those are his kids or whatever, and she knows there's going to be a test, right? But literally, the only thing is Xaden says, fuck it, dinner with my mother sounds great. Think I'll wash up first. After the whole, he leaves me standing on the veranda, my thoughts racing more rapidly than Taryn can even fly. The Triumvirate, their council leader group, is coming to dinner. They'll test us tonight. They sent the kids away. Do they think we're dangerous? Or are they? We need an edge. What would Ree or Brennan do? Shit, what did I bring with me? Brennan sent the med kit. Which includes the leaves with the T. So yeah, it's literally she poisoned them to get an edge.
No.
Like, what the fuck were you gonna do? If there wasn't an assassination attempt, just say, oh, by the way, I poisoned you all? Like, that would go down great. You literally just tried to murder their leaders? Or were you gonna slip the antidote in somehow?
How many international incidents are we gonna have in a book? How many completely avoidable international incidents that have gone way beyond the normal scope of international incidents are we going to have?
This was just so dumb. So she goes to the kitchen, she sees the way the cook's hands looks, and then she grabs one of her dad's books. She realizes what was in the cake. She gets Garrick the antidote, and then she tries again. She's like, my dude, I'll let you live, but you will be letting us go. We're gonna leave. We're gonna just leave this island, and you're not gonna do shit about it. And he's like, no, I'm not. And she's like, yeah, you are, because my dragon is where your kids are, at their grandma's house, and she'll eat them if you don't let us go. And he literally says, you didn't outsmart me, and then takes the antidote. That's his way of saying fine. Is you didn't outsmart me. Okay. And then they leave.
But
another island, no dragons.
I guess she did.
Like, you literally were gonna murder children and murder an entire leadership of an island? Like, what were you going to do if there was no assassination attempt? I really want to know it. I want to know, Rebecca, what was the original plan?
Okay, how many more islands are there?
Technically 2, but they only go to 1 more.
Okay. Rule of 3s, understood. Wait, no, this is where we're past 3. It's going to be 4. Oh, God.
Do you have any thoughts before we go to island number 3? Island number 3, my lord.
This is number 3, not number 4?
Well, technically this is the 3rd island on this quest.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for island number 3.
You're just like, I want this over with.
Yeah.
There's quite a few pages left still. Okay. On the 3rd island, they feel a small amount of magic, which is a relief to the dragons and the riders, because it means it is enough for their bonds to be present. So the dragons can now talk to their riders. And the 3rd island is Zilna. I'm just going to go with Zilna. And is inhabited by worshippers of the god of luck, Zinhal.
Okay. I see the naming convention here. Got it.
They are greeted by villagers, and they're told that if they can pass a test, they will have an alliance and an army. And Violet's like, fucking great, let's go. And the test is that they select a card, and whatever is on the card determines the gift they get. And they have to greet each gift, good or bad, with gratitude to the god of luck.
Okay. I love the cheeky smile that you're giving me.
So Violet gets a broken compass. Xaden an empty box. That one dude named Drake, he gets a kitten.
Aww.
Dang gets slapped in the face. And the major unlucky one is Traeger, who pulls the arrow card and gets shot in the heart.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who was Traeger again?
And literally, the only reason this matters is because it was a minor D-plot where he and Kat were a couple. So it makes it so that we're supposed to be sad. He literally does not matter at all.
Great. So he dies?
Yeah, he dies. And Violet has to be the one to go up and say thank you as a way of accepting the gift because of this test.
Well, that's fucked. But also, like, that's your worship for a god of luck?
You know, he was just unlucky.
You know, I see the thought process. I disagree.
So do I.
But I see the thought process. It's just, No, not unless the gods are actively, like, ruling over the humans and they're treating humans like playthings from the get-go, but that makes sense. Humans should still have some say if the gods are not actively walking amongst them.
Literally, this is the only stuff we get for the gods.
Yeah, this is stupid. Every single one of these have been comically stupid.
Yeah, the only big thing in the other two books is occasionally she will say, oh, I'll pray to blah 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 for luck, or thank blah blah blah. And then there's a whole thing about Malik, because he's the god of death, and they commit the bodies to Malik.
Great.
That's it. This is the rest of the god representation.
Got it. I despise this. It is...
yeah.
It is so, like...
It's lazy.
It's not just lazy, it's just a lack of understanding about how polytheism works on a fundamental level. Like, the cults of a specific god do exist. Like, the average pagan does not worship a single god. There's, like, a god that they, like, give a... But, like, there are the cults of gods where they majorly worship one god over the others. Mm-hmm. But they still honor all of the gods. And they don't have stupid shit like this ever. Like, maybe the cult of Dionysus, but the cult of Dionysus was specifically supposed to be a counterculture movement in the first place, where people could go, no matter what their situation was, and get possessed by Dionysus by drinking wine.
Dionysus is also just a wild, wild, wild god to begin with.
Absolutely a wild god to begin with. Just being conceived from unnormal methods. Unique.
Yeah. Like, the only other things we get about the gods, like I said, is the quotes.
Yeah.
Like how the god of wisdom is the trickiest to placate. Let me see what they say about this one.
This is literally just like, you read somewhere that Zeus was god of thunder and completely missed the fact that he had more than just thunder going on with him.
Yeah, like the fact that he slept with everything that had legs.
Yeah, the fact that, like, he was also a war god, a storm god. Yeah. He was the god that ruled over other gods, so he was a judge in some senses. Like, Poseidon was not just... Poseidon was not just the ocean, he was horses for some ungodly reason.
Yeah, literally. It's like how most people look at Hades and just see him as a death god, even though he literally has nothing to do with how people die.
Yeah, that's Thanatos.
My man is just... my man's just filling out paperwork.
Yeah, he's just there to watch over the dead. He's not there to actually, like... take you, like, the Thanatos takes you to the ferryman.
The most we get about this guy, this god of luck, is to live amongst him, you must prepare to accept luck as your guide and chaos as your standard.
No, that's not what luck is. Fuck off.
Literally, the only other quote is, sometimes the best gift the god of luck can give you is his absence. And that's on the chapter where Traeger dies.
What the fuck? No! There's a reason why in actual polytheism there are gods of good fortune and bad fortune, and they are separate.
Yeah, literally. Like, I'd understand if this was supposed to be like Loki, but again, he's not a god of luck, he's just a trickster.
Yeah, and to be notable, like, the gods, like, in polytheism, when you see a god of good fortune and a god of bad fortune, that is like their tertiary power. That is not their primary thing. Because again, no matter what polytheistic religion you're going into, the gods are not just one thing.
No, they are never one thing, and they are very much that way in this book.
And even in monotheism, the gods are not one thing. We can, like, look at literally, like, the golden standard of monotheism. He's, like, Jesus represents love, El represents, like, war and judgment and all these other things. Like, this is not how religion works, and if this thing is how you think religion works, I pretty much recommend you go read a goddamn theology book that isn't just whatever you were taught growing up.
Yeah, they wanted to make a really half-assed deity system without understanding paganism. It's really weird.
And to double down on my point, by the way, like, not just what you were taught growing up includes what you learned in school about polytheism.
I mentioned online that I was having a really hard time reading this book, and someone said that, oh yeah, I understand that because there's all the lore that comes with this book, but, you know, I really enjoyed it. It made it more something or whatever. And I'm like, there's not much lore to begin with, number one. It's
so subtle. It's barely there.
This is just fetch quest. That's all this is. This is a giant D&D fetch quest. This is like Link going off collecting Korok seeds instead of saving Zelda.
Yeah.
At least in Zelda, I get more lore.
Yeah, it's just, what is happening? Why? I've been thinking several times in here, like, okay, what's the point? What's the point? We gotta save the world from the Vernon and also find the dragons because the Vernon are interested in the dragons. What's the point to Violet?
She exists, and that is the center of the universe. Clearly. She's the special. She's the Feyre. She's the Bella.
For the our lovely listeners who can't see, I am like really into the camera right now, and I'm looking between Thyme on my second screen and the camera.
If it makes you feel any better, book 4 hasn't come out yet.
I appreciate this book for getting so many people into reading. I can't. It's like, I appreciate this book, but for that, and I can't appreciate it for anything else.
If I was not reading this for the podcast, I would have dropped this so fast. This would, like, the second that Dane's dad was Umbridge number 5.0, I wanted to stop. I wanted to stop so bad. And that was, like, chapter 4.
Episodes like these really make me wish that we had, like, a proper sit-down where we sat across from each other and, like, also video recorded.
Yeah, I get that.
Because there's so much physical comedy right now in the way that I'm reacting. It's just because, like, I can't... There's just nothing happening in this goddamn book.
This book did not need to be 527 pages.
Why is it so long?
Iron Flame was longer than this, and it felt shorter. Anyway, so Violet says thank you. They pass the test. There's a celebration. The Quest Squad agrees to go to a minor island to bury Traeger and his griffin, because when a griffin rider dies, the griffin dies, a la Aragorn style. And then they're going to split up to search the minor islands in groups before coming back to search the last big one that they're able to search. And Violet is feeling terrible because, oh my god, he died. And also, we're failing this quest. We have not found any of her kind. Ma'am, this is the military. People are gonna die.
Yeah.
Also, you're lucky none of you have died already.
Yeah.
They go to the small island. They burn and bury the flyer and the griffin. And she says that Rydok is going to go with her to search islands, not Xaden, which annoys him. And she tells him, well, it's because I'm your trigger. Every time you've channeled and reacted badly, it's been because of me.
No?
He's like, no, that's not it.
Literally, he started channeling randomly on the battleground when she wasn't there.
Yeah. You know, the word revolves around Violet. So, she's left on the island with Rydok, and I don't remember why they stayed on the island for a bit. But before they leave the island or whatever... By the way, at this point I knew. I literally told Dalton, I was sitting on the couch next to him reading this, like, oh, so they're going to find her kind on this island. Well, guess who shows up?
Her kind. On the island.
Yeah, literally the sand shifts because they can shape-shift, they can color shift their scales to blend in with their surroundings.
Yeah.
And the Irids show up. Woohoo! And Darna is super excited. Family time! Woohoo! Don't get excited, kid.
Don't get excited, kid. Damn.
So she very excitedly tells them her whole fucking life story, okay? She is like... You know that scene in Frozen 2 where Olaf is telling them about the first movie, basically?
Yeah.
And the guy is reacting, the guard guy is reacting, like the scene where she's like, and then I died, but I lived. And then he's like, turns out I'm the bad guy now. that scene, that's kind of what happens here. She's excitedly telling them, and then they're not happy. They are horrified. And she doesn't understand why. She also gets a dope-ass line here, by the way. But they literally tell her, verbatim, I'm going to read this. Like, they even say, we think you're a weapon. And Darna just goes, thank you! And her scales flick to mirror hers. And they just go, that wasn't a compliment. Our breed is known for peace, not violence like others. He spares terror in a single glance before returning to Andarna. You were left behind as the criterion, the measurement of their growth, their ability to choose tranquility and harmony with all living things. we hoped you would return to tell us the humans had evolved, that they had blossomed under the wardstones. You mean wardstone. There was only one, bitch. Just saying. And no longer used magic as a weapon, but instead you have shown us the opposite. And dragonkind has not learned their lesson either. While you gifted your human with ice, he looked at Rydok's dragon then, and then looks at Tyrion and says, you armed yours with lightning. And Rydok just goes, that's not how our signets work, because as far as they know, the signets are a unique thing that happens from body chemistry or whatever. And then the guy looks at Andarna and says, you, our very hope, have handed this human something far more dangerous to wield. Now, Violet gets confused by this. Not the whole peace thing, but because as far as she knows, she doesn't have a second power.
Well, she does. She's got 2 dragons. She's got a second power.
Yes, but she does not realize she has a second power. And I'm just going to spoil this now, because literally, this has no fucking impact on the book whatsoever. Okay? It turns out she's a dream walker because she looked at Andarna sleeping and thought, I want to know what she's dreaming about.
So dangerous.
Yeah. So she can just walk into people's dreams. And I guess that means she can find out information. I don't know. Because it literally, the only thing that happens in this book with her dream walking is she constantly goes into Xaden's dream, seeing his nightmare of him getting attacked by the sage. And one time when she goes into Marin's dream.
Convince me why this is a dangerous book. You have to convince me.
The only thing that Xaden says is it's because she can go into people's minds when they're not shielded. Because they can't shield when they sleep. What is she gonna do? She can't do shit, as far as I know. She's just gonna walk.
They're shielded when they're asleep, but she's a dream reader? Okay, you know what?
He's like, well, they're not shielded when they're asleep because they can't shield because they're not conscious. And I'm over here going, what is she going to figure out from their dreams? That they get wet dreams from their neighbor? I don't know. You know what I dream about? Weird shit.
I just, you know what? Fuck off.
Yeah. Like, is someone going to be dreaming about confidential, classified information?
Sometimes, but not really.
Yeah, this has no weight on the book at all.
Like, maybe later she's going to run into a dream where in the dream she's trying to find out, like, information from this person. She's looking in that person's dream. And then she goes, like, okay, actually, this random thing they thought about was related to this random puzzle they had. So clearly that's the deal.
But it has no weight in this book, so why does it matter?
Yeah.
How's it dangerous? We don't know.
Maybe it's something for the next 2 books. We're towards the end of this book, right? What the fuck? What the fuck? We are 3 hours into recording this. What the fuck?
We're on page 348, baby.
200 more pages? How the fuck do you keep this going for 200 more pages?
I don't know. I'm just happy she didn't walk into someone's wet dream in this book.
Same. Considering the contents of this book.
So, most of the Irids leave because, obviously, they don't like what they see. But 2 stay. To give them a bit of a chance, because one is like, okay, you didn't realize you bonded to a child. And she's like, no, I literally had no fucking clue. But, dun, Xaden shows up, and he's like, oh my god, new dragons, woohoo, we found them. But then, the Irids, like, try to do the whole mind melt thing to make it so everyone can talk to each other. And they realize that he's a Venin, because for some reason, I don't know why, his eyes turn red briefly. And they're like, oh my god, an abomination, and then they leave. And Rydok also sees this, and he's like, bitch, excuse me? What the fuck?
Reasonable reaction.
Yeah, because the only people that know are Xaden's friends.
Yeah.
Not hers.
All of this quest for literally nothing.
Yeah.
No!
Are you sure you don't want to hug Fuecoco instead?
Fuecoco's really far away.
Rydok and Violet, after everyone else comes back, and she placates him and says, can I tell you later? He's like, you better have a good fucking reason. Rydok is the only character I give a shit about in this book, and I didn't give a shit about him until this point, let me tell you. Because he's the smart-ass friend, and he's the one making funny comments. He's the jokester, ha. Yeah. So they go off with the excuse of going hunting, and they use a little silence room bubble thing that makes it so that no one can hear what they're saying. And she explains what's going on with Xaden, and Rydok, yeah, he's not having it. He's like, good. He's a Venin? And he even points out how dangerous this whole thing is and tries to reason with her like this is a fucking, intervention meeting. Like, I wanna tell you this, okay? She even says, I have the book in front of me. He literally says, he could tear our kingdom, our province apart from within. He could deliver us to the Venom on a silver platter. We have a Dark Wielder sitting in the Cenarium, which is the council thing that decides shit. And she's all like, he's on our side. And he just goes, how do you know he's not playing with you? Good fucking question.
Yeah.
So they go back and forth a bit. He's like, okay, let's say he's like 80% Xaden, and she's like 90. He's like, no, absolutely not. He's even like, okay, the man's channeled 3 different times. And he literally tries to say that mathematically 80%'s being generous, and we'll live in your delusion for the purpose of hypothetical. How long do we have until he's an ASIM, basically when the whole vein things pop out? Until he's physically unable to deny the call of the Sage, which is like the highest level Venom. And she's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, okay, but there's no cure. Like, what are we gonna do? The Irids said there's no cure, which is literally what you wanted to find them for. And she's like, I don't know what to do with that information. I just learned it. But there has to be a cure. I'm not giving up on the man I love. He's like, okay, Miss Ma'am, there's not an entire fucking dragon rider that can take him down at full power, and he's getting stronger every time he channels. So if he hurts someone you love, like, what are you gonna do? Will you change your mind? Will you take him out? She's like, he wouldn't do that. He hasn't in all these months. He won't. That's literally her words. To which Rydok says, no, not good enough. You need to give me a threshold. You need to give me a I will take him out at this point line. And so at this point, he's like, okay, fine. You gave me a small threshold. I don't even remember what it is. The threshold was if he kills another rider without cause or hurts civilians. Keep that in mind.
Okay, that's reasonable. He's going to do that by the end of the book. We just set it up. We're going to have the payoff.
So then Rydok says, you have to tell the rest of the group. The only people I will allow you not to tell is Dane and Mira, because they'll just murder him on sight. Which is not actually true, but whatever. She agrees. They leave the little bubble thing. And who happens to be there? Xaden. Xaden's waiting for them after their conversation.
Xaden, that's awfully suspicious, my man.
So this is the point where I had a bit of a... I don't know if this is on purpose. This is also the last time I'm going to be opening the book, by the way. Which means I can put this on my bookshelf and ignore it until book 4 comes out. I don't know if Rebecca did this on purpose or not. I honestly don't know. Because this is the main love interest couple. Okay? There is no other love interest for Violet. It has already... She's not going to be with Dane. Rydok's not a love interest. She already said she's not going to be a prince boy, and I fucking agree. I will murder someone if she ends up with Halden. The only one I would accept is either she becomes a lesbian, or she marries Auric. But Auric's too young, so that's not happening. Auric and Rydok are the only people I give a shit about in this book so far. Because they're the only 2 smart people. Other than Mira. I don't know if this is on purpose. And if any of you girlies come after me, I swear to God, I'm going to call a therapist because I'm concerned for you, baby. I don't know if this is supposed to be an abuse allegory or not.
It feels like an abuse allegory.
It does so hard. And I don't know if it's on purpose, and that makes it worse. Because the amount of times, and sadly I've seen this online, where people get pissed off at people who don't leave abusive situations. This literally seems like someone who was just told, you need to leave this relationship, they're going to kill you one day. Like, I don't care that he hasn't laid a hand on her physically. He's already abusive emotionally. He's literally a danger to her life, and she literally just said the common word a lot of abuse victims say, he won't hurt me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's either an abuse allegory that's poorly written because you can't tell it's an allegory and it's purposeful, or it's glorification of abuse.
And I don't know which would be worse, honestly, because I was like, okay, is this on purpose? I don't know. But that's the only thing I can think of. And if it is on purpose, someone please tell me. Like, Xaden even agrees that there needs to be space between them. And she gets mad and says, okay, well, when you're done brooding over being a Venom, come find me so we can do it, basically.
She's abusive, too.
Yeah. She won't accept them not being together. She refuses when he says... Like, in the second book, she refused when he said he didn't want to have sex because he didn't want to pressure her or anything like that. Mind you, he was like, we're not going to have sex until you say I love you, which was not a good thing to say. But she would not respect his, we are not having sex. And in this one, she's not respecting him saying, we need space.
Like, he's abusive and she's abusive and they're in different ways, and holy shit, I hate this couple so much. Can book
4 be from someone else, please? They go back home, and they're not court-martialed for disobeying direct orders, because the king's just so happy that his fucking son's alive that they face no fucking punishment. And they go back to school, they're having trouble because they've been gone 3 weeks, and then there's even mention of the fact that there's a spy somewhere in one of their classes, and nothing happens! Literally nothing. So then we get to the whole B story of Sawyer feeling like he can't be a writer because he lost his leg, but then he finally feels like he can, so they go to Tyrrendor on their rotation there, and Xaden happens to go there after he's done in Llewellyn. It's either Llewellyn or it's supposed to be Llewellyn. I don't know. There's no Y, so that's why I'm saying Llewellyn. Okay. Because he had to go there for Duke business. And they have sexy time, it's been like a month since they've been together, and he hasn't channeled in 73 days, and 76 was the number he told himself would be when he could be around her again. And then they get all excited because he didn't channel during their sexy time like he almost did the first time. And he's doing so much better. Yay! Woohoo!
This means something. You wouldn't mention it if it doesn't mean something, right?
Yeah. So then the Venom attack, and there's this big thing about Auric telling Violet she needs to protect the Temple of Dune. Remember, that's the war goddess. And she doesn't understand why. She's like, no, we don't need to attack. I need to be in the front lines. And she ends up going there on accident during the battle. And she finds that Theophany, remember, that Venom that wants her to join them, that hasn't been in anything for like ever, like 2 hours, used to be a priestess of Dune, and she left because she wasn't happy with the amount of power she was given. She wanted to be a god herself. And so the Venom are about to kill Violet and Xaden and Rhiannon and all the priestesses, but then Theophany looks at the sky, and she gets a scared look on her face, and she and the Venom just run the fuck away. Because it turns out that the wards have gone up, because one of the Irids came and they blew fire on the wardstone. He's like, yeah, figured you would need that. Also, like, can I have a moment alone with you and your dragon? And they're like, and no one's really wanting that, but they do. And she's like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. And he's like, look, I want to give Andarna a second chance to learn how we live our way, because she wasn't able to do so. But to do that, she's got to leave. She's got to come with me. There's a bit of back and forth. He doesn't get a 100% affirmative from Andarna. And then he cuts off the bond that she had with Violet. And she looks distressed.
Oh.
And then Andarna just leaves with him. And so the bond's gone, and Violet goes into this grief state. But she does live because she's bonded to a different dragon. Apparently,
that makes sense.
They're able to do that now, even though usually it would be death. At this point, Mira comes in after it's been like a few weeks or days or whatever, and is like, hey, yo, dude, you gotta get the fuck out of bed. Like, I understand you're grieving, but get the fuck out of bed. This is when Mira finds out what Xaden is. And we find this out because Brennan and her are arguing in her little bedroom while she takes a bath with Xaden. Like, he's like washing her hair and shit. And they go back in, and Brennan is mad because Mira went to see their grandmother, who has basically been excommunicated from the family. And this is when we get the stupid payoff I already knew from earlier in the book, which is the grandmother distanced herself from the family because their dad took Violet to the island of Dune to have her dedicated because of her condition. But the priestesses stopped the dedication from going through fully because Violet had 2 paths that one of them could see. And one of them was that her heart would turn, implying that it would turn Venom. And Mira believes this means that Violet would turn Venom, so she's scared for Violet. But obviously it means Xaden, because Xaden is her heart. Romantic.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Can we get a main character who is worth
You mean something? Not just a stupid love interest?
Other, like, what are your goals in life, girl? Is your goal in life just to get that dick? Holy shit.
I have no idea what her goals in life are at this point. I really don't know. Because after this book, what is the goal going to be? Your entire life goal so far has been saving your man from damnation. Wait, is she a Mormon? I'm really curious. So
I don't think she is.
Xaden outs himself so that Mira will stop thinking that Violet will turn venom. And Mira's pissed, but she's not going to tell anyone, and she fucks off. She's like, I'm out of here. Bye. She should tell someone. She should murder him. She should tell Dane, so Dane can murder him. Then, Violet gets a note from Theophany that she has Mira, and to bring Violet, Xaden, and Xaden's brother, meaning Jack, but they wonder if it means Bodhi, because Bodhi's the second line and is his cousin or whatever. And there's this whole battle of trying to get Mira back and save the major city that she happened to be in. And in this battle, Theophany slits Mira's throat, hoping it will make Violet mad enough to turn into a venom. Is there any levity to this? No. Brennan starts trying to save her, obviously, as Mira's like, dying. And then Salone and Dane arrive just in time because, remember, or don't remember, because Salone hasn't been brought up at all in this review, Salone is a siphon. She can transfer magic from Dane to Brennan. But she's scared to do so since she killed Violet's mom, technically, by siphoning Violet's mom's life force into the Wardstone in Book 2. So she also is there, mostly, to bring Violet a gift from Auric, which she doesn't fucking look at all. She just puts in her pocket. And so they save Mira. Any threat of death in this is literally, they fake out that Tyrion will die twice. They faked out Andarna leaving. They fake out Rydok would die before Traeger dies. Traeger's the only one who fucking dies in this book permanently. No, 2 people die. Anyway, so they leave, because Mira's injured, and Taryn takes Mira's dragon, because the dragon's also injured. So she and Bodhi are there by themselves. And there's a whole fight with Theophany, and Bodhi leaves because Violet's like, no, you need to go, because your signet power is useless, because she realized Theophany is not a lightning wielder, but a storm wielder, like Violet's mom, because the entire point, apparently, is that magic is balancing itself by having powers that are similar on the Venom side and the non-Venom side, because earlier we see one of the cadets gets Shadow Daddy powers. And Xaden's like, well, maybe that's the magic's way of balancing out the fact that I'm now a venom. And I don't know when the fuck the magic in this book became the goddamn force. When the hell did the magic suddenly need to balance itself? Where did that come from?
I have a story where magic is actively trying to balance itself, but magic is a extension of
Which makes
nature.
Sense.
And so because magic is an extension of nature and magic has been killed, thus the whole world has been turned into wasteland, the half-humans, which can be any race, but half-human, the half-humans are genuinely coming up with magic that is absolutely bonkers and makes no sense with the rest of the world, because magic in nature is trying to use half-humans to reestablish itself.
That makes sense.
And rapidly evolve.
Yeah. There's this whole thing. Theophany even says, no, I'm not the answer to you. I'm the answer to your mother. Because apparently her and Violet's mom had beef. So Sigale swoops in and scoops up Violet and then transfers her to Taryn, and then there's more fighting. And Violet and Taryn at one point get taken down by these nets. How? I don't know. Are these nets made of iron? I don't know. And Violet finally opens the gift from Auric. And it's a knife from the Temple of Dune with a note from Auric. And at this point I already realized what the twist is. And the note says that when she is in the dark, she will need it, basically. And Violet's like, how did Auric know I would need this? And then she realizes that he has precognition. He can see the future.
Hence why he can do so many cool things. Yeah.
And he is even more powerful than General Melgren because he can only see the outcome of battles. How does this work? I don't know. How does the magic work? I don't know. How does he know what future he sees? I don't know. Does it all revolve around Violet? Probably. I don't know.
Probably, indeed.
She gets them out of the net, and Theophany is going to kill them. But then Xaden, sensing what's about to happen to Violet, and also because we get a chapter from his perspective about this, and him and Seagal get caught in nets too, causing him to be pissed off someone hurt his dragon, channels from the earth so much there's no way of hiding that he's a Venom anymore. He is now an ASIM. And Violet kills Theophany, and then passes the fuck out.
This is how we end, because it always ends with her passing the fuck out, right?
The chapter from Xaden's perspective, we find out that Colonel Panchek is the one who was the spy, and he's now a Venom, and the sage Xaden became a Venom to kill, is not actually dead, making him do all of this for nothing. And then we also get 2 unnecessary chapters in the middle of all this battle shit, because this battle shit goes on for like 20 chapters. One is from Rhiannon's perspective, which is just her doing her goddamn job and has nothing to do with anything. And one is from Imogen's perspective, which is just finding out that Quinn dies. And why did we get these? I don't know. They were useless. Oh, and then Darna came back, and it wasn't important. It just meant that Theophany is distracted when Violet stabs her. Now we're at the final chapter. The final chapter. Violet wakes up in the courtyard of Ryerson House, and Brennan's like, dude, where the fuck have you been? You've been missing, and Xaden is gone. And there are 4 riders and their dragons dead, 3 elders murdered, and there's 4 others missing. Also, 6 eggs were stolen, and we know Xaden did this. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What's going on? Because she has no memory. And there's a ring on her finger. That finger. And then there's a marriage certificate from the priestess of Dune saying that her and Xaden are married. And there's a note from Xaden saying, don't try to find me, it's yours now, meaning she's the Duchess of Tyrrendor. And Violet looks at Imogen and goes, what did you do? And Imogen says, what you asked me to do, because she can wipe memories, and that's where we end.
Wait, how did we get from there to
That's
there?
all I got. She passed out, and then she wakes up married, with no memory of how it happened.
I'm turning into a fish.
That's literally what happens in the book. She passes out and wakes up married. Was it necessary? No. I hope we get answers in book 4, but I'm not really hopeful.
What is happening?
Well, we already checked off that and that, kind of that. Also, the sex in this book is just the repeats of the sex in the other books. Violet's dumb and horny. We already talked about that. Oh, there's one thing we haven't talked about because it's in my things to talk about section. So, you remember how in books 1 and 2, there's this whole thing where Violet is wanting to protect civilians and, oh, we need to protect the civilians. You can't just let them die. Well, apparently she doesn't give a shit anymore. No.
Is she Vernon now?
So, there's this whole argument that she has.
No. After she got married, is she Vernon now?
I have no idea. That would be
That's my theory. That's my theory.
That would be interesting. Why don't they just wipe Xaden's memory? Would that solve him being a Venom if he doesn't know what to do? We have no idea how Venoms work.
That could also make it worse. That could make it worse. It could make it better.
Like, we have no idea how Venom work in this universe. And since the only thing we know how they channel from is their hands, I don't know if they can channel from anything else, like their feet, like Frozen. I don't know. Can he channel from his dick and make her pregnant with a Venom?
Oh, maybe.
Does he have Venom semen like Edward? I don't know. I don't even... He apparently sleeps.
More Mormons.
He apparently sleeps. Will he stop sleeping when he's a sage? Does he eat food? We never see him eat. He's a vampire. That's all I'm saying. And the cure for him is Jesus.
Clearly, obviously, this was written by a Mormon.
Anyway, so I'm saying this.
Ma'am, this is a military.
The reason why I say that Violet doesn't care anymore is because Violet, literally, there's a section where she wants to put Xaden in their relationship before his civilians. Like, he's saying he needs to go to Llewellyn because he's needed there. They need to double down on the alloy production, and it's training his people, and so there's unrest because there was also a conscription, so people are getting drafted into the war. He's like, there's more to Tyrrendor than just Aretia, which is where his house and shit is. And so his second in command is like, look, you have to accept that he's a duke now. Like, he has more to him than just being Xaden. And I know that's going to put pressure on your relationship, but you gotta accept it. Like, the guy says that, I hope the two of you figure out the balance between all of this. You know, the balance between him being a duke, the relationship, the war. And she's like, by balance, you mean Tyrrendor comes first, Xaden second, and our relationship fights for third, and my personal needs are a matter of convenience. Saying it aloud puts it all in harsh perspective. And the guy just goes, something like that. And she goes, Xaden comes first for me. Just so we're clear, but I will never stop being the woman he fell in love with in order to morph into whatever doormat you think he requires. Number one, the guy didn't say that. He literally just said, your relationship does not come before him being a duke and doing his duties. And the guy just says, he'll say the same about you, and that's what makes your relationship so dangerous.
Do people not understand what... No, we live in America. People don't understand these things. We live in a democracy, and I need to give people the benefit of the doubt. This is fine. This is fine. We live in this purity culture democracy where everything is Utah.
This is a similar... Okay, our current one is not a good example. This is like if Obama put Michelle before the country and was just fucking off doing whatever Michelle wanted.
Can we have people with brain cells? Are brain cells possible?
This is written for young adults, so no. Apparently young adult goes from 12 to 18, by the way. I didn't know that.
That's a lot of sex for...
I was reading smut at like 10, but it was from fan fiction, not printed material.
Yeah. Yeah, like, no, it's fine for kids to read that on the internet, because kids are gonna try and learn about it anyways. As long as kids are consuming what other kids write, I do not give a shit.
Most fan fiction writers are adults.
I wrote fan fiction at that age, but I didn't write sexy fan fiction.
Studies have shown them... Studies, I say. From what I've heard, most fan fiction writers are adults. Also, I would like to comment on one thing. Most of this romantasy media that has smut in it is written for women, which is highly polarizing for some ungodly reason. There are 12-year-old boys that watch the corny material at 12.
No, it's like... It's one of those things where it's one thing if it was... Like, as long as the material is not made for kids. Kids of that age seeking out that material is just what they're gonna do. And as much as I don't like to think about it, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite, because I did that at that age, and that's what kids fucking do. But, like, just call it new adults and make it 19 to 21.
I don't accept that new adults should be a thing, and this is just going to be a agree to disagree thing, just because... If anything, 16-year-olds to 18-year-olds, whatever. Like, middle schoolers are going to find it. It's just what middle schoolers do. Mind you, I was reading books in my school library, so I was reading things like Percy Jackson. I doubt Fourth Wing's in middle school libraries. But no. I am against book banning, so in my opinion, just because a book has smut in it does not mean it is unacceptable for a preteen. Because I knew kids my age when I was in middle school doing shit. Like, it happened. And I would rather them know what to expect at all, as someone who did not get the talk at a young age. I would rather them know what to expect that is correct. This is not a good relationship to give to preteens, but authors,
I see
they
your
have
point.
A unique opportunity to showcase how it should be, is my main thing. Like, show it in a healthy way.
Yes, okay, I see your point. I understand. Because, like, I'm thinking of this from the viewpoint of somebody who had one parent out of two being very laissez-faire about the topic and openly talking about it a lot. So to me, it's one of those cases of, like, I'd rather not have it made for kids in mind, or for, like, a younger demographic, because that's, to me, feels like a representation of what the author thinks is okay.
Well, and I don't think Rebecca Yarros is advertising this to preteens.
Yeah, I feel that.
This is something that I didn't get into an argument, but it was something that people were debating on an Instagram post that I happened to comment on, and I said the same thing I said here. But, you know, I was 10 reading gay fan fiction. And we live in a different society now where we have social media. Like, there are 10-year-olds on Twitter and TikTok and shit like that. Like, they're exposed to this stuff already. I just think authors need to be responsible. Like, we should not have the Colleen Hoovers of the universe romanticizing abuse in their books.
That's fair.
And
I will go, yeah.
And I think the big thing is this book would feel different if the 20-year-olds acted like 20-year-olds.
Yes, and honestly, my desire for new adult is just so that, like, when I pick up a book...
It's not teens.
And it's rated young adult. Yeah, I and not just that, the fact that it's not teens. I want to be able to know if these books designed like young adults but with sex has sex or not. Because sometimes I don't want to read sex.
Fair.
Like, I don't mind reading about it, but sometimes I don't want to read it. Because sometimes I'm just like, I want to sit down and have a wholesome story without any of that bullshit.
Fair.
So, like, my desire for new adult is just to make it easier on me, as well as the fact that I think that it's a telling of the author when you have a book that could be rated that low.
Yeah.
And they're writing that in it.
And the other big thing is, this book is driven by the romance. There is nothing about this book that could be... You can't take the romance out of this and have the book be the same. So that's one of the other big things. But I think the answer to knowing if sex is in books or not is... And there's another debate that I got on an Instagram post, is trigger warnings. I personally think it should be a publishing requirement, not a publishing do if you want thing. Where if there's graphic depictions of sex, like if there's actual sex on page and not a fade to black, it should be on a, hey, yeah, this is in here. And at which point, if a preteen picks up a book, it's up to the parent to be like, no, I don't want you reading this right now. Or just have the talk with your kids. Like, preteens need the talk at that point. If you reach puberty, you need to talk.
It's just... Like, as soon as you have the talk as a preteen, you're less likely to have sex.
And as someone who never got the talk, did not know why their body was doing what it was doing, I thought I could get pregnant by things that happened with a female friend. I was 10. Like, I didn't know what was happening to my body. I didn't know why my body felt like it was doing. And that's not something that a preteen needs. And not that a 10-year-old should read this book, but, again, like... If we had trigger warnings, even if the trigger warnings are the most raw, America, violence, we're awesome trigger warnings on the planet, like this book has, at least then people know, and if you want to skip the trigger warnings yourself, go for it. But some people...
Yeah. Also,
yeah.
In the same vein... I see a lot of people getting upset at people commenting on TikTok posts, like, is this book spicy? And the common assumption is that those people are looking for spicy books. Yeah. There are so many times I want to comment, is this book spicy? Because I want to know if, like, because the idea sounds good so long as it doesn't have sex in the book.
Yeah.
And so I want to know for my own personal pleasure, to make sure that there's no sex in it. So is it spicy is also a genuine question in that regard.
Yeah.
And then that's what trigger warnings are for.
Like, the people who don't want trigger warnings are privileged as fuck. And I see people...
Yeah.
I saw people on that post that are saying that those who need trigger warnings, well, it's their personal responsibility to stop being special little snowflakes. Like, no. Shut the fuck up. Go seek help.
I appreciate Owlcrate for putting down a spiciness level.
Me too.
In their, like, this is how spicy the anticipated book is supposed to be. I do find their spiciness level meter explanation page very confusing. Because I'm just like, okay, so, like, heavy amount of sexual content? What is heavy in your definition?
Yeah.
Everybody has a different definition of heavy.
Yeah.
Give me a definition.
For example, I got an audiobook for a book where it was advertised as, I think, 3 spice. Mind you, I didn't think it was going to be that crazy. It was a monster romance.
Is it 3 out of 3? Is it 3 out of 3 or 3 out of 5?
Yeah, out of what? To me, that was one of, like, I can't listen to that audiobook. I wish I could delete it from my Audible thing, but it won't let me. Mm-hmm. There's sex on every page.
That makes sense. It's monster fucking.
Yeah. There's sex on every fucking page. And I'm like, I don't want to listen to this. Especially if I'm at work. God damn it. Like, because I'm one of those people where I can read it without getting bothered at all. But auditorily, it's stimulating. I don't know why. It's annoying as shit. I hate it.
No, it's same.
Yeah. Also, straight people find this book sexy. I'm confused.
Straight people confuse me. I agree. There's a reason I don't find straight women attractive. Like, I find women attractive. I do not find straight women attractive.
God, I remember when we were in dance, okay? We were still minors, okay?
Yeah.
My sister that was doing dance with us, like, one day looked at me and was like, I'm just so uncomfortable because what if Beryl is attracted to me? And I'm like, number 1, narcissism. But number 2, what the fuck are you talking about? It's Beryl.
Yeah. Like, that was even back in my era when I would flirt with everybody casually.
Yeah.
except for, like, the more interested I became in somebody, the less I flirted with them. And, like, the way that I was literally telling everybody, come here often. Literally, your sister got in her own car, and I said, come here often to her as she enters her own car. And, yeah. Did she think I was serious?
I guess.
I hope not.
I don't know.
There's a reason I've stopped doing that, and I don't know what the actual reason is, because there's two possible avenues for why I've stopped doing that.
It's just so funny to think about.
In our dance group, too, our troop leader didn't really know that I was gay, but there was also a gay man in our troop, our dance group.
I love him.
Our dance
He was
school.
awesome.
Yeah, every single time we had a rehearsal, there was always a conversation with everybody above a certain age where we had to get in a circle, and our teacher, would be like, okay, and remember, no boyfriends in the dressing rooms. And when he became old enough to join that conversation, she would look dead at him and say, or girlfriends. And, like, all of the queer people in the dance troupe figured out who we were and hung out together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, and so the joke every time afterwards was like that and girlfriends was meant for Beryl. Which is crazy, because your sister knew me when I thought I was bi.
I know.
Like, I'm not bi. But, like, the fact that I've been attracted to women, like I have found women so attractive my whole life that anybody who meets me knows I'm gay. Like, and if you don't know that I'm gay, it's because you either have the worst gaydar in existence, or you're just a homophobic piece of shit. I'm so fucking obviously gay. Like, even your sister, like, that was back when everybody thought I was bi, when I hadn't even dated a woman yet. Well, like, I had dated a woman by that point, but not a woman who was out, because, like,
it was in secret.
Because, like, I have this, well, no, it's because, like, every single, like, I'm about to become a gold star at almost 30. I'm approaching 30, and I might be a gold star soon, solely because of how many of my exes have come out as trans.
Oh, fair. We should get you a trophy.
I am pretty sure that there's going to be at least one who's never going to come out, and that's the one I don't remember dating.
That's fair.
So, like, anyways, I don't remember how we got to this tangent. This is just me being like, God, your sister pisses me off.
Also, there was a much cuter person in our dance group than my sister. Okay, she was adorable. She was also one of the shortest. She was also the only person shorter than me.
God, I wasn't attracted to anybody in our dance troupe because our dance troupe was just filled with the straightest women possible.
Like, I was not attracted to her. I just knew that she was aesthetically very cute.
Which one are you talking about? Was she the one that was partnered with the girl who was super tall?
Yeah.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Small,
was she actually
blonde.
shorter than you? Yeah.
Yeah, she was shorter than me.
I can't... God, I just remember that there was, like, the dancing duo who were always perfectly in sync, and it made me, like, jaw drop every single time I saw them because of how in sync they were. But one was really fucking tall, and one was really short.
Like, aesthetically, she was just an adorable, adorable little person. And she was also so nice, despite the fact that her friend was a bitch.
Her friend was a bitch, and because I was not part of the same high school as the rest of you, I never got to talk to her.
Honestly, fair.
Like there were the two of us, like not you and I, but like there were the two people from the other place that didn't go to the same high school as everybody else, and we had such a hard time fitting in.
To be fair, I also didn't fit in, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's
why we hung out together.
Yeah, and then we all, like, we gravitated towards the queer group, and we were all getting along with the queer group. Yeah.
Anyway, 0 stars. 10 out of 10, do not recommend.
I don't think that's what 10 out of 10 means.
I can 100% not recommend it.
Okay.
That's what that means.
100% don't recommend. Yeah. Okay.
Like, the fact that, to me, this has the same rating as that terrible Anna Frank book, but for completely different reasons.
Yes.
There's a reason I called this the Mountain of Hell.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I got to, like, as much as I hated this book, I also got to have fun just ranting about it to Dalton whenever I would finish a chapter. I would open a page, I would read something, and just shout, and he would hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with these books after I'm done with them, with all of my fucking annotations. Like, I can donate them to the bookstore, but I have no idea if they would sell because of my writing. Like,
let's auction them.
There we go. We'll auction them. Pay for my therapy bills.
Money goes to charity. Money goes to charity, aka therapy pills and student loan payments.
There we go.
Charity live stream, therapy and student loan payments.
There we go. They have my original annotations. You can keep the sticky notes. Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're done.
I forgot what the outro for these are.
It's okay. It's my outro.
It is your outro. Yeah. That is true.
Join us whenever book 4 comes out. Thank you for lasting this long. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Do you hate my my thoughts on this book? Do you like my thoughts on this book? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who's your favorite character? And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.